Heupel and Brian Kelly for me.
This is where people point out DeBoer's head-to-head against Sark.
Yeah, people pointed out. No, some people pointed out what has DeBoer done to be there. Why is Heupel there?
I mean, you guys will give me DeBoer is more accomplished than Sark.
I would give you that. Yes.
I mean, yeah, one season, both. Well, one went to finals, one went to a semifinals.
Yeah, one coach for a national championship.
Yeah, and one to beat the other. Yeah. And then you look at what Brian Kelly was able to do at Notre Dame. Hasn't been the best result so far at LSU, but he's more accomplished than Sark.
Yeah. You got Lance's right there. Kirby, DeBoer, Kelly, Heupel, and Sarkisian there. Same 5 different order. And
and I brought this point up yesterday. If Sark doesn't move up on this list, how disappointing of a season is it?
Massive.
I'm just talking about my list.
Yeah.
Because if you don't jump Heupel probably is going to take a little bit of a step back this year with that quarterback situation.
Yeah, but they can still be a playoff team and only jump one spot for Sark on your list.
If
Kirby, DeBoer, and Kelly.
But I'm saying he's got to go up.
Where's Brown's list? Right there? Is that it? Yeah,
that's me.
Kirby, DeBoer, Sark, Kelly, Lane Kiffin makes the top 5. Who do you not have in there? You don't have Heupel at all.
I don't have Heupel at all.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin in there at number 5.
Yeah, the guy that's never made the playoff versus the guy that has. Is that what you're telling me? I'm putting a guy that's never made the playoff.
That not there. Hey, that Madden movie that's coming out. We have new images from Nicolas Cage as Madden walking back and forth on the set.
This can't be good.
It's not bad.
It's better than the initial one we saw.
It's a lot better than I would have thought.
Better than the initial. Now, again...
but his mannerisms... Well, Madden had his own, but Nick Cage, even in great roles that are unique, he's still got the Nick Cage mannerisms, and I just don't know how that's going to play with John Madden.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that.
I don't have a huge expectation for this movie, though.
I don't think I'll even watch it. I mean,
Tyler will. Tyler will tell us.
Tyler watches everything.
It'll open on a Friday, and he'll tell us about it on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Does it interest you, Jim? Like the story of this movie?
I don't even know what we're doing. Is it John Madden's story?
I don't know. Or is it he and Al Davis?
So Al Davis is portrayed by Christian Bale,
who looks just like Al.
Yeah,
Davis.
and I do trust the fact that Christian Bale will be all in.
You didn't think so?
In the first photo shot,
the first one we saw, yeah.
But the ones moving around the set when these were taken, I saw it was so bad I didn't even use them.
Yeah.
I didn't think Bale looked as the part as much.
So do you know the storyline?
So Christian Bale comes back as American Psycho, and he lops off John Madden's head. It's almost like a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
But it's played out in football terms.
Okay, which surprises you more? Jerry Reinsdorf is going to sell the White Sox, or that the UA system, University of Alabama system, approved $14.6 million to improve Bartow Arena? Which surprises you most? Both of those are true stories, by the way.
The Bartow Arena. Yeah.
I had heard this was coming. I have not seen any drawings. Have you seen drawings of this?
I've got no drawings, but they are going to improve. $14.6 million has been approved to entrance lobby expansion, club-level lounge and club-level seating to enhance viewing experience, replacement of some lower bowl seating with new seating to elevate fan experiences, and concourse improvements, including lighting and upgrading to the bathrooms.
I don't know if you know this. Ironically, it wasn't UAB fans complaining. It was high school graduations around town.
I'm sure it was, because there are plenty of them that go to Bartow.
$14.6 million. But Jerry Reinsdorf is selling, Forrester, his majority stock to the White Sox, most likely before the 2029 to 2034 season.
Right?
Yeah. Will he be alive then?
So he's selling it.
Yeah, he's 90 years old.
Yeah. Sorta, he's selling it.
But we're going to wait and do this for 4 years.
So in other words, he's selling it in his will. Somebody's going to get it.
I don't know. You know, Chicago, it might be one of these blue zones. The Bears owner, the chick, McCaskill or whatever.
Yeah.
She's like 150.
That's true.
We'll see.
She doesn't change. Like her every year, same picture.
Let's see if the Braves can start winning and the Rays can stay hot this weekend. Good luck to Auburn baseball tonight. We will see you at 9 a.m. Central Time on Monday. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Our countdown continues today at number 22 on the poll you guys voted on as we get closer and closer to SEC Media Days in Atlanta, NBA playoffs. The Stallions run is over with. Baseball, NFL mandatory camps. But we start with that brief period of time in our lives that we didn't have to worry about anybody cheating in college football. We didn't have to worry about it for the last few years. Did you notice that? We never worried.
I liked it better.
We never worried about anybody cheating the last few years. There were no investigations really. I mean, Michigan had their little thing going on, but that was a different thing. That was scouting and sign stealing.
Yeah.
But we didn't have to worry about, they're paying players. They've got a car. It felt good. I didn't know how good it felt until now I'm worried about cheating again. Cheating is coming back because we passed this settlement. Everyone's going to be cheating now.
Well, we've talked about this. Once you figure out guardrails, and this is a semblance of guardrails, then we're going to get back to what the SEC does best.
Tell me how, explain to me, let's just use football. Let's put everything else aside.
Yeah.
Let's just use football.
It's basically what the House settlement did.
Pretty much, yes. They're like, okay, so one makes all the money and the other one's kind of driven. Okay. So give me a cheating scenario. Let's don't even use a state team or SEC team.
Well, okay, here's a cheating scenario.
Okay, give it to me.
You've got $20.5 million to divide.
That's right. That's my salary cap.
75% is likely going to go to football.
All right.
Okay, so if you do that with just your starting 22,
right?
Okay, you can't pay everybody $1 million.
You cannot.
Okay, so if I've got a roster in place and all of a sudden, Lance's school just got a quarterback, they're paying him $4 million a year.
Right.
Well, and then all of a sudden they got a receiver, they're paying $2 million a year. At some point, somebody's going to go, wait a second, they're cheating. There's no way they're under the salary cap.
This is why you've got the Chad Bowdens of the USCs and the Jim Nagy's of Oklahoma.
Because they know how to cheat?
Well, no, these are your general managers, though, and much like an NFL salary cap, you're going to have to figure out what that number is, and not everybody's going to make the same.
But explain to me what you're saying right here is Lance's $2 million and the other guy's $4 million put you over the salary cap.
Well, it gets you to $6 million. Now I'm dividing up the other 20 players.
But isn't State U going to say, oh, no, the school's only paying, we can show you what we're paying. We're only paying Lance $1 million. That's all we're paying him.
Yeah.
That other $3 million, that came from Jim Thompson Chevrolet.
Yep.
It came from Dunkin' Donuts.
By the way,
came from McDonald's.
Those rogue deals that we've been dealing with where, you didn't really have to show your math, your work.
All right.
That ends Wednesday.
It does.
Everybody thought it was going to be July 1st. So if you want to call the folks at any collective in the country right now, they're not returning your call until Thursday because they're busting their butts right now to get the deals done for this year's team before Wednesday so that they don't have to be evaluated by this committee that's coming
And
up.
I don't know how they're going to truly do a legitimate valuation on athletes.
Let me just tell you,
That's exactly right.
They're not for long.
Well, there's no precedent.
No.
Well, here's the quote.
How do we know one guy's worth $10 million and one guy's worth $1 million?
One Power 4 administrator and one coach said fair market value. F Deloitte. How can they tell us? How can they tell us what the market value is for this guy?
I'll give you a great example of this. A great example of why this is such flawed thinking. This fair market value deal. What was Cam Newton's value coming out of Blinn Community College?
Well, it was down here.
Yeah, 5 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
What was Cam Newton's true value coming out of Blinn Community College?
Now $10 million?
$10 million.
It was down here until he dove into the end zone Superman against South Carolina, and then it started going.
Yeah, but I think now if you knew what you were getting with a Cam Newton, anybody would pay $10 million, and it would be a value.
Give me a true freshman that has killed it in college football.
Jeremiah Smith.
All right, Jeremiah Smith. What was Jeremiah Smith's value coming out of high school?
Oh,
a lot.
It was a lot, but I mean, he's still not a proven college football player. Right? I mean, so this fair market value, this is not going to last.
Well, this goes back to contractual employees. Like if you had once we have a track record, I mean, the first couple of years is going to be difficult, but then you get arbitration involved. And if you've got an arbitrator, they can tell you, well, based on throwing for 3,500 yards and 25 touchdowns, in the SEC, this is what you're worth.
If you think the Ohio States and Alabamas and Texas are going to sit around and let an accounting firm tell them what their players are worth long term,
that's what they said. F. Deloitte.
Yeah, that ain't happening. I mean, they agreed to this. Like, okay, just agree to that. We'll be done with that in about 2 years. And I don't know. A lot of people I talk to say that won't even stand up in a court of law. Then once you get players suing about that one, it'll be like, I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah, arbitration, lawsuits.
That's right.
The big winners in all this are the lawyers.
I mean, we're going to have billable hours are undefeated.
We're going to have lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit.
Well, and so the NCAA is going to pay in back pay nearly $3 billion.
That's right.
Over the last decade, back to 2016. How do you figure out where that $2.8 billion goes?
You know what's crazy about that? And this is just my opinion. The NCAA is going to pay all that money, and I think within a matter of years, if not months, the big powers are going to pull away from the NCAA. They're going to pay all that money, and you know what they're going to have at the end? All those little schools left. Because, again, I'll go back to the Alabamas and Ohio States and Texas school aren't going to allow the NCAA. Why would we let them tell us how to spend our money?
But that is them. Them is the NCAA. Those schools are the NCAA. And,
they are for now.
And that's their money that they're paying back. That's Alabama's money.
That's right.
That's Auburn's
but
money.
That's my point, is they're going to pay all that money back and then probably go out of business.
It's just like the federal government. Why does Alabama or Illinois or send their money to the government? Well, they pay some stuff out. They hold that money until they just needed some, blah, blah, blah,
Boy,
blah.
I'd pack up shop. I don't know who's in charge of the NCAA.
Yeah. Charlie Baker.
I don't know who your trust fund kids are from the NCAA, but it would almost be like, I agree with you. Inevitably, we're going to be out anyway.
NCAA.
Why are we going to pay this $2.8 billion? Now, you would have some athletes that probably would come back and have some recourse, but good luck if you close down shop.
NCAA is completely cooked.
This is going to be like any class action suit. I mean, who is a big star? And Tua Tagovailoa falls into this window. Do you think Tua Tagovailoa is going to get a check for $1 million out of this? No. He's not. It's going to be divided between all the athletes that played at that time.
Yeah.
Tua Tagovailoa is going to go to. It's going to be a $672 check.
Yeah, Tua's not even going to cash it.
Yeah, almost like he was in EA college football this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what this is going to amount to.
You know who's going to want their money? Max Duggan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duggan,
those are the people.
Those are the guys that are going to be like, hey, look, what was my valuation? I was the Heisman runner-up. I played for a national championship. You tell me what I was worth.
I wonder, for good PR, do some of these NFL and NBA guys just
let it go?
Yeah. Hey, no, put that back in the pot for the other guys.
Well, I want to see what these checks look like. I hope some of these 2016 to 2024 guys, or whoever it was, 2021 guys, whenever NIL started, I hope they let us know what that check is.
Well, they won't let it go. You know why? Because their agents and their accountants are going to be like, hey, if we can get a $1 million back pay from Alabama, we can write this off against your taxes right now.
Okay, so here's the deal. According to most people, 75% of the 20.5 will go to football. That's roughly, depending on your school, 13 to 16 million of the 20.5 million to go to football. Keep in mind that most contenders this year are spending between 25 and 30 million on their football roster with NIL money. So now we know the difference. So you don't have to say in the chat room, Jim, this is what the school can pay, and then they can make NIL. I totally understand that. So they've got to go out and find more NIL money to make up for this. And you're saying, well, they're making up for it now with NIL money. Well, the schools, this 20.5 million, they didn't have just laying around. Alabama lost money last year as an athletic department. They lost money last year in the fiscal 2024.
Now, part of that was because of all the money they had to pay Nick Saban and his staff to go away, and the money they had to pay
Kalen DeBoer
and his staff to come to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, and the fact that Kalen DeBoer didn't get him to a college football playoff.
Yeah, well, that did not help. But, I mean, that was an uncommon year for Alabama. But, yes, you're right. I mean, everybody thinks all these schools just print money every year.
Football still made money.
Oh, football made money, yeah.
Yeah. Women's basketball lost $4.2 million in fiscal 24.
Well, that's going to just get worse because you're going to have to pay more players if you want to have a competitive program.
4.2 million.
Oh, and by the way, women's basketball coaches are making more than they've ever made. Dawn Staley and Gino and all those guys, they're making $3-4 million.
Do you think when this kind of filters out over the next months, year, we're going to know what a average salary cap is for SEC teams, Big Ten teams?
What do you mean by that?
Well, the only reason I bring this up is because, everybody's talking about Aaron Rodgers getting signed for, 1 year, $14 million deal. But the NFL salary cap, as much money as this is, it's never going to scratch the surface. The salary cap in 2025 is $279 million per team.
That's right, per team.
Yeah, you're never going to, as big as college football is, it can never get up to those numbers.
Yeah, I would say this.
So I'm just wondering what the roundabout, do you think it's $50 million?
By the way, it's going up. Just during the recent deal, it's going up almost $1 million a year. So next year it'll be roughly $21.5 million. Okay,
because the biggest one we've seen.
It'll be like 22.5, 23.5, and then $25 million before this run is done.
Are we guessing Ohio State last year with the $30 million is about the biggest we've seen?
I mean, they try to tempt that down, but those seem to be the reports. I think that includes Chip Kelly.
That's 10% of what the NFL is spending on their salary.
Well, I mean, the NFL
and half the players.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges, obviously. But when it comes to college football, that money comes from the schools now, and 15% of it's going to go to basketball. Another big winner in this are going to be your Big East basketball schools, because they can spend more money technically than the SEC can on basketball
because they don't have football.
Because they don't have football.
Yeah, like St. John's. Where's St. John's going to spend their money? If I was St. John's, I'd almost be like, hey, you know what? We're going to have one sport moving forward. It's going to be men's basketball, and we're going to dominate.
That's right. We'll play at MSG. We'll fill her up for $15 million a year. I can build me a roster.
I mean, where does Title IX fall on all this?
Yeah, well,
that's going to get murky.
That'll be more lawsuits coming up. But do you agree with me that we're about to re-enter a new era of the screaming of cheating?
I don't know.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. I mean, if you are given a hard number, you think Texas is going to sit on that hard number?
They're not, but I do think they're going to energize their boosters with their companies to sponsor Arch Manning. And I don't know how the NCAA ever stops that.
You're saying get creative.
Get creative. I think now the NCAA, the way they're going to control it, they can't stop it. The way they're going to control it is this clearinghouse. Like, all right, Terry Black's Barbecue in Austin, Texas. Great spot, by the way, if you're ever in Austin. Terry Black's Barbecue. They decide they want to sponsor Arch Manning for $1 million. Arch Manning, he's doing Terry Black commercials. So in theory, the NCAA has to look at that deal and say, now Arch is doing how many commercials for that $1 million? 12. Whew, that's a pretty high rate. We got to compare to that. That's in theory the way this works. Yeah. That will not last. That will not last.
But let me ask you, now can I not pay Arch Manning any rev share money, and he only gets paid NIL, so I can use my rev share money somewhere else?
Yeah,
is that legal?
In other words, the way you frequently see, to use the NFL model, a Tom Brady restructure his contract to free up money in the cap so they can go get him weapons.
So Arch Manning's got all of his NIL deals.
That's right.
But he's going to take zero from the school. I'm going to take
zero.
That's
a great question. How do they police
cheating?
That? I don't
know.
I don't think it is. Is there a rule against it?
I don't know.
Then it's not cheating.
Let me ask you this. So these deals now start, June 11th in new NIL world, but July 1st is revenue sharing. Well, that's not when the fiscal calendar ends for colleges. So let me ask you about this. Chris Vanini writes about this. It's not tanking for draft picks. You tank a season by not spending some of your money on this roster, and you save some of your $20.5 million to spend in the portal.
So,
then $20.5 million on the recruit. So basically you can roll in without any NIL money, roughly, $40 million on the 2026 team, while you tank on the 2025 season.
This is reportedly...
See, I haven't heard that angle.
Well, this is reportedly what Hugh Freeze did. This is what Brandon Marcello told us back in Dallas at SEC Media Days. And others have reported that Freeze convinced his NIL people, we'll spend a little year 1 and year 2, but let's stockpile as much as we can and really go after it year 3. So he went out and paid, in terms of today's dollars, pretty high dollar for a quarterback from Oklahoma, a wide receiver from Georgia Tech that was a coveted property in the in the portal.
Don't like that strategy, by the way.
It's a tough one, but all our teams have done it. I mean, my team is still trying to climb out of it. In the NFL,
college.
Yeah, not in college. All our NFL teams have done it, so it's not unlike, trading away, restructuring, getting rid of some underperforming players on big contracts so that I am in better position for the future.
Yeah, normally the NFL only does it when you're in a bad quarterback situation.
Generally.
And if you're in Auburn, you can put yourself in a good quarterback situation immediately if you really want to.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, some say maybe that's what they did.
I think they have with Jackson Arnold now.
Yeah.
I know Brown disagrees a little bit less than we do.
Yeah.
by not going to get a quarterback last year.
Yeah, but last
they
year-
saved a little bit of money.
True.
And went after Jackson Arnold this year.
Yeah.
I know.
Again, they paid him like he's
But
was the best guy on the
Was
board.
it worth it? You know, if you're Hugh,
I'll tell you in
yeah,
December.
but
We'll find out.
You've got a 5-7.
I mean,
Yeah.
tanking for Jackson doesn't sound as cool as tanking for Tua, and poor Peyton Thorne got thrown to the Wolves. But
Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't you agree though that if Auburn would have been 7-5 last year, it would feel different than the 5-7?
Yeah,
A little bit,
absolutely. Yeah. By the way, just in case, and I only have these numbers because it was in the ESPN article, but Ohio State fields 33 sports.
Not for long.
Okay, 75% of this money, revenue share, is expected to go to football, 15% to men's basketball, 5% to women's basketball, 5% to others.
Yeah.
33 sports at Ohio State, 36 at Stanford. Boston College has 29 sports. Those were the three there. I don't know how many Alabama and Auburn roll in. Seems to be in the teens to me.
Stanford has 36.
Yep. Not
36
for
sports.
Not for long.
Hacky sack, one of them.
Well, some of them will become club sports, which is probably what they should be.
Yeah, that's
probably
another
what they
thing, man.
should
You,
be anyway.
you can get Title IX involved, but if I'm running a business and now athletic departments are true businesses, I'm not going to have just a loss leader year in, year out where I'm losing millions. $4.5 million for Alabama basketball and women's basketball.
Yeah, 4.2.
If it's my business, that's not going to continue.
Okay, I'll say this too. Kentucky basketball, because they play in a football conference too, the SEC. Roughly this year's roster, about $20 million
Yep.
is what's being reported.
You think Mark
just
Stoops,
for basketball? You think
Mark Stoops looks at that as like, how much am I getting when we get
That's
all
a
this?
big
Yeah.
number
Wait.
for college basketball.
Are you going to tell Kentucky basketball that we can't compete at that level anymore?
Nope.
No.
In fact, I'm going to take from Mark Stoops to keep Kentucky basketball up there.
Yeah, again, it's never going to go backwards.
My sport.
Like, when you were talking about how do you filter this money around to, all the guys on a roster, if you're coming out of high school and you're going to be the backup left tackle, you want X amount of dollars. You never knew anything differently.
That's right.
In 2016, these guys weren't getting paid $1, but now you believe, hey, as a backup left tackle, I'm worth $150,000, and if I'm not going to get it from you, I'm going to get it from somebody else. So once that Kentucky number of $20 million, it's going to be really difficult for Mark Pope to ever go in reverse and pay less.
Pete Nakos of On3 Sports asked a current Power 4 assistant coach. So you're telling me that an elite D1 quarterback is going to be $1 million now, back to $1 million? And he put, hell no.
Yeah.
No, you can forget that. Elite.
It ain't going backwards.
No. Elite? No. Serviceable? Maybe.
I mean, just pick any school.
Hey, so real quick, do we have any clarity now? Like, I don't feel any different about this outside of your going back to cheating.
It's going to be cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no more clarity. It's just, this is the next step towards college football programs privatizing themselves.
Funny
And
you should say that.
why?
We got a report from Ross Dellinger today. We're not even to the Wednesday date yet of the new NIL. Ross Dellinger reporting earlier today, per Elevate, 2 power conference athletic departments have entered into an agreement for this private capital funding. It was only a matter of time.
It was
we got
only a matter of
those
time. Yep.
Those aren't group of fives. 2 power conference athletic departments have entered into an agreement for private equity money.
That's right. That is the next step in this.
So companies are going to
It's
own.
2 right now. It'll be 4 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, you'll see movement this week on this already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I'd love to see who the 2 were.
Yeah.
Because if they were, by the way, if they were an SEC or a Big Ten school, that would be new. That would be breaking. I mean, that would be stop the
Well,
world.
I just
for a
wonder if
second.
it just hasn't come out yet. But
But basically, at that point, you're giving up a major percentage of your athletic department to a company, a corporation that's going to take a big percentage of your profits. They're
They
going
are.
to fund you to basically.
But they're also going to make up for your capital shortfall.
They are, but I mean,
it's the decision everybody's going to have to make. Yeah.
so does Bank of America on my credit card.
I'm well aware of how it works. I'm just telling you.
Inevitably, you can get upside down. in that
I'm just
stuff.
telling you, there are going to be programs that are looking at this like, do I want to have to make this money work every single year? Or do I take Lance Taylor Incorporated's money, take a little less profit, but boy, that headache is off my plate. And then it's going to become how dedicated is your ownership group to winning? And I'll go back to the example I use a lot as our billionaire from Texas Tech. That guy can own the program, and he's dedicated to winning. He doesn't do this without wanting to. He established NIL. He went and paid $1 million for a softball pitcher because this guy wants Texas Tech lifting trophies. That's the owner I want. That's the guy that's dedicated.
Always better to have local.
But you want that consistent buy-in, and if you don't get it each and every year, you know what you're going to have? You're going to have a coach like Lane Kiffin, 3 years ago, saying, man, the roof's leaking here. Yep. Instead of the roof's leaking, hey, I can't get consistent backing on this. If I can't get consistent backing, I'm going somewhere else. So there's going to be more movement amongst coaches. There's going to be more coaches retiring early because this is so difficult to figure out.
Yep.
June 15th is the opt-in date for schools. Auburn and Alabama have already opted in to this revenue sharing. You can expect every SEC, Big Ten, Power 4 team to opt in. We'll see about the group of 5 teams. I expect all of them to opt in as well to the revenue sharing model. But you have until Sunday to get that done on the opt-in day. That's the House settlement that went down on Friday, and has been talked about everywhere over the weekend. You can read about it on any of your sources. Show today being brought to you by a couple of great sponsors. One of them is our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Lance was just talking about, and Maggie was this morning over coffee. She was telling me, I can't remember it raining this much in June. I said, I can't remember it raining this much
in Seattle
from February till June right now. It rains, it seems like, every day, and there have been some massive storms to blow through. Greg from Pell City, I was texting with him over the weekend. He is getting texts from you guys, and he is working to get to you as fast as he can. Keep those texts coming in. He's getting to you. If you had any storm damage at all, if you need that roof evaluated after a windstorm or a tree fell on your house. We had one viewer had a tree fall on his house. Greg's taking care of him out there. 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, or look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City. Like the guy who had the tree fall on his house over the weekend, sometimes you just can't remember that number. I tell that number to you every day. But sometimes you don't remember it, and your tree just got a house just got a tree on it, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, my head's what's that number? Just DM me, or just hit me on Twitter. You don't have to DM me. My DMs are open, and I'll give you that number like I did for the guy over the weekend. Greg from Pell City, locally owned, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. He'll take care of everything it has to do with your roof. He's got his builder's license. He'll help you rebuild parts of your home as well. 205-542-3531, Greg from Pell City. Also, our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa LT.
Woodhouse Day Spa, give the gift of relaxation. Hey, Father's Day, 6 days away. You've been trying to figure out what to get Dad. Dad works hard all week for you, brings that money home. Make sure you get him the gift of relaxation. You can do it from Birmingham's best day spa. Actually, the Woodhouse Day Spa voted America's best day spa since 2009, located right there at Summit Shopping Centers. Get in, see Stuart and that great staff. Tell them the next round sent you. You can order the gift cards online. Simple solution. Buy them 24/7. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Let Dad choose from a menu of over 70 options, including the massages, body treatment, skincare, and much more. Again, Birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
Okay, Butch Thompson here reacting to Auburn getting eliminated from the road to Omaha in the College World Series by Coastal Carolina in 2 straight games. Auburn had base runners both games, but in game 2, Auburn had a runner on base in all 9 innings and could not just get a big inning. Here's Butch Thompson after the loss.
That's what I told him. I thought they kind of reset, our goals, but it's a tough one now. I thought Ike Irish and Cooper McMurray, those guys were supposed to play in Omaha. So if that makes me an idiot or whatever, going in 19, going in 22, this is disappointing personally, and it should be. And my point is, I think it's okay. So they did an amazing job. But these things are so hard to get to in the first place. I'm thankful for these guys, and I appreciate everything. They did everything to move on, because I know what 9 other World Series teams look like and what they invested. They did enough to be able to get there. But I'm not going to play the standard game or anything that people try to say, but we have enough backing, we have enough resources to where we should be knocking on this door in our fair share of time. Our season should be ending in Omaha, And I think that's what we want. And I think that's what we desire. So I think that's what I should say if I believe it.
Unbelievable atmosphere for both games. The new remade Plainsman Park was a beautiful setting for this. But Coastal Carolina, cut to Tyler, comes to town, and their pitching was just tremendous. Bullpen arms, starting pitching arms, and Kevin Schnall, the head coach, emotional afterwards because when Coastal Carolina went to the World Series and won it in 2016, his son couldn't make the trip. He was ill. This time, these players have said, we want your son to go to Omaha to make the trip this time. That was sort of their rallying cry. He talked about that after the win in Auburn over the weekend.
I'll be honest, I woke up at about 5 a.m. and I thought about us winning. And again, not to get emotional, but I guess it was 9 years ago, we went to Omaha. And in the fall, our son had a stroke. And he ended up having 5 more strokes. And when we went to Omaha, he was in the 3rd grade and he was young and, he had a rough year, and we decided as a family that our kids were going to stay back. And he's doing great now. He's flourishing. He's a freshman in high school. And we've been talking for years. If we ever go back, he's coming. They're coming. And these guys have awarded him that opportunity.
Well, dang. Was unaware of that story. That'll get you.
Yeah. Incredible story. Yeah. What a terrible draw, though, for Auburn. Just talking to some Auburn fans over the weekend, like you host a super regional and you absolutely get sent a buzzsaw to Plainsman Park.
They haven't lost a game since February, right?
Well, I think April 22nd, College of Charleston. It's been a while, right?
It has been a long time.
23 straight wins now for Coastal as they go to Omaha.
Yeah, obviously I was joking about February, but I mean it had been a long time. I didn't know when the last one was.
That's a long time in baseball terms, and I don't know how much you guys got to see, but when Auburn worked their way out of that bases loaded jam in the bottom of the 5th. I was like, okay, they're gonna be able to turn this thing around.
Yeah, game 1, they battled back from a hole and
dude hit a missile game 1.
Yeah, lost it in extra innings, and then never really could get those runs across the plate in game 2.
Yeah, I was watching in the bottom of the 7th, and keep in mind the way the Super Regional works is the quote-unquote road team gets the home game in the second game, which I think is a stupid rule. I think if you're hosting, you ought to be the home team every time. That had no impact on this series. I'm just saying that as an aside. But it was the bottom of the 7th when Coastal Carolina was at the plate, and it's 2-1. They go to the bullpen. The guy that comes in out of the bullpen walks the batter on 4 pitches that were not close. One did go to the backstop, but it hit the net so hard the guy from 3rd couldn't score. And so then Thompson's got to go to the pen again. First pitch for the next guy hits a guy. And you're just like, this ain't happening, man. I mean, Auburn was the tighter team. They were the tighter-looking team. Then Coastal Carolina, to Lance's point, Coastal came in and it's like they played, they were free, they were confident, they were not the least bit tight. Auburn was the tighter of the two teams.
Arkansas, LSU, or the field?
I right now believe Arkansas can win this whole thing. LSU and Arkansas play each other. They're on the same side of the bracket in Saturday night's game, in the primetime game, LSU and Arkansas. The rest of the teams are not from the SEC. Louisville, who's never won one. Oregon State is who Louisville plays. Oregon State won it in 18. Arizona, who last won it in 12, plays Coastal, who last won it in 16. LSU and Arkansas. Arkansas has never won it. LSU last won it in 2023. UCLA is there. They last won it in 13. They play the winner of tonight's Murray State-Duke game on Saturday, 6 o'clock on main ESPN, to see if Murray State can punch that ticket. What is amazing is that Oregon State's there. And Oregon State's baseball royalty. They have won this thing a couple of times, last in 18. But remember, what did they not have this year?
Conference affiliation?
They didn't have a conference. They were basically an independent.
Well, look at the old school Pac-12 and how well they would have done with this.
They always have, haven't they?
They used to be used to be the best baseball conference. Arizona State, Arizona, UCLA has been really good. USC used to be dominant. Yes, they used to be dominant.
Yeah, UCLA with only one national
I
championship.
am really almost starting to think Coastal Carolina can win another one this year.
Well, sometimes pitching becomes the key, and their pitching depth is real out of that bullpen.
Yeah, we told you coming in.
Oh, and by the way, they believe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked about it coming into the series that they were second best in the country in ERA this year. And that was not a fluke. When you watched how they pitched against Auburn, that was not a fluke at all. That's a really good pitching team.
Tennessee won it last year. They got knocked out by Arkansas in a crazy series there in Fayetteville. Dave Van Horn, very emotional after that. They have never won one. So we'll see if
it's hard to believe
that Arkansas program that loves its baseball can get over the hump and win it all. Them and LSU, who loves their baseball, get rolling on Saturday. There are the Omahogs, as they like to call them this time of the year. The Omahogs.
I would say, and I'm saying this just offhand here, and I'm probably missing somebody obvious.
Florida State.
But I don't know that anybody other than Florida State has accomplished more. I was going to say Florida State. I knew them. Anybody other than Florida State has accomplished more without a championship than Arkansas. There might be another one out there, but Florida State is they're the king of it.
I don't want to say the football version's Oregon. Who is the football version?
Of Arkansas, it might be Oregon. Now, Florida State, I don't know that there is one because Florida State has been a dominant team, and I mean they've never won a championship. I can't think of a football team that has been that dominant without a national championship.
It was probably Michigan for years.
I thought about that.
Yeah,
because Schembechler used to always emphasize the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, because he didn't win.
He didn't win the national championship.
Louisville is there. Our buddy Morgan had a chance to go cheer Louisville on. He watches us in Kentucky. He and his son. In his next round gear out at the Louisville Park, seeing the Cardinals make it back to Omaha in the World Series. Knowing Morgan, he may hop in a car and go watch it. He goes to see every Alabama basketball game. Why not? Chris Lowe joins the show in hour number 3. He'll be with us at 12 Eastern, 11 Central on the show today. That's hour number 3 coming up. We've got hockey again tonight. Before LT tells us about Lance's lock, tell us about Alexander Shunnarah, Brownie, the trial attorneys based here in Birmingham.
That never ask you to pay a dime unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com is the place to start. Shunnarah.com. Headquartered in Birmingham for more than 24 years, the firm has grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. And here's the important number. They've recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values: integrity, mastery, passion, and success. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com.
Game 3, Stanley Cup Finals. We had Florida in Game 2, winner there. We had OKC last night. In Game 2 of the NBA Finals, jump on board, win with us, Lance'sLock.com. It is always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham's trusted since 1954. For all of your plumbing, heating, or cooling issues, any of these arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama-born, Alabama-raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken. When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
As we speak, the Power Conference commissioners are holding a joint news conference. 5 conference commissioners are listed there. I guess they're allowing the Pac-12 to still be a part of that conversation.
Is it Notre Dame's AD?
Or it's Notre Dame's AD. I don't know which, but Pete Thamel says it's the 5 conference commissioners, to which Greg Sankey says, quote, "This decision also brings us to a point of having the opportunity for stability and fairness. Calls it a significant move forward for college sports. Acknowledges that there will be growing pains and challenges that will arise, but thinks this is a positive step forward." This comes the day after Greg Sankey played with Notre Dame Athletic Director Pete Bavacqua a round of golf with U.S. President Donald Trump yesterday.
Oh, I did not realize that happened.
Yeah.
Wow. Quite a day. Where did they? Do you know where they played? Probably at
a Trump
Mar-a-Lago.
course.
I'm sure it's a Trump course.
It starts with a B.
Bedminster.
Yeah,
That's his course in New Jersey.
Yeah, Bedminster is where it was. Yep.
So it was Greg Sankey, President Trump, and
Pete Bavacqua.
The Notre Dame athletic, right? Let's just call him that.
And I assume a Secret Service guy who's the 4th person. I don't know who the 4th was.
You always give the president the pot,
Is
right?
there
That's
a
good,
rumor that Notre Dame to the SEC?
President Trump was trying to broker the deal?
Yeah, I don't think the Big Ten was the 4th guy. It was not mentioned in any of the reports that that's who would be playing golf with the president. It was the SEC commissioner, the Notre Dame AD, and the president of the United States. If you want to pull the power card right there, Greg Sankey's in a pretty good position right there of leading the conversation on that conference call as that happens. It's time for our 40 and 40 as we continue now back to the field and talk about the games coming up just 75 days away from week 0. We're at number 22 in our rankings. It's brought to you by our friends at Champions Boxing.
Champions Boxing, great place to get a different kind of workout. Look, if you are Sick of doing the traditionals, throwing up the weights. Boxing for fitness and competition, all ages starting at 9 years old. 8 USA boxing certified coaches, not only in boxing, but strength and conditioning as well. Coaches have experience in the amateur, professional, and Olympic levels. Any former athletes looking to try another sport to compete in after high school or college, this could be perfect for you. The official sports boxing coordinator for the 2025 World Police and Fire Games held in Birmingham next month. No pressure to spar, but if you do, 100% safe and controlled, team and family oriented, helps in teaching discipline and fundamentals. Located in Pelham, right behind the Purple Onion. You can check them out on Instagram at Champions Boxing AL, Facebook at Champions Boxing AL. Make sure you tell them the guys from the next round sent you.
All right, moving up the rankings, we're at number 22 now. Forrester, show us the next SEC team to slide in after Oklahoma on Friday at 23. Here's the Block T of Tennessee in at number 22, and instantly a playoff team last year that is only this low, I believe, because of the quarterback change. I think they would have been a lot higher if Nico had stayed at quarterback.
I think they would have been higher. I don't know about a lot higher. When you lose, you go back and you watch Tennessee football last year. And look, the good thing for Nico was he didn't turn the football over a lot, but he didn't take games over. It was Dylan Sampson running the football, playing great defense. I think the defense is going to be good. Dylan Sampson's out. I don't know who Joey Aguilar is going to be throwing to. I mean, you
That's
lose basically, Dante Thornton is on to the NFL. Squirrel White out in the portal. Brew McCoy has retired from football. I mean, you don't have, and I don't even want to say Tennessee's, the weapons weren't even close to what they were with Heupel or with Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
But I just don't know who the guys are this year.
You know, one of the big concerns about Joey Aguilar is who he's thrown to in the past, right?
The other team.
The other team. And that has been, he's been really high on turnovers. And that's what concerns you if you're a Tennessee fan, this guy getting thrown into the starting job here. I would say the good news on that. Let me give you some good news on that if you're a Tennessee fan. They've got a favorable enough early schedule to sort this out. Now, it does include a game against Georgia at Neyland. But aside from that, you open against Syracuse, where there'll be a fairly big favorite.
Yeah, right at
double-digit favorite. You play ETSU. Again, there's that Georgia game. At least you get it at home. You're not asking Aguilar to do this in Sanford Stadium. Then you host UAB. Then you're at State. He gets to get his feet wet as a starter in the SEC at probably the easiest place to do it, other than Vanderbilt, at Mississippi State. So this is a favorable start if you're trying to break a quarterback in.
Yeah, look, and the good news is Aguilar's got a lot of experience, 24 starts, 61 touchdowns over the last 2 years at Appalachian State. The bad news is 11 of those starts were losses and 24 picks over the last 2 years. Back to Nico, he wasn't sensational by any means, but only 5 picks. So he did do a really good job at protecting the football. Aguilar can't be loose with the football.
Two things. One, you guys are talking offense. I think this Tennessee team's calling card will be its defense.
For sure.
Defense will be really, really good again at Rocky Top. You don't think Josh Heupel about having a defensive-oriented team, but McCoy in the secondary is one of the nation's best. It'll be a really good secondary, pretty good linebackers and defensive line. Defense will be their calling card.
Yeah, 6th in total defense last year, 7th in scoring defense, only 16.1 points per game. So if Tennessee is going to be a factor again this year, I think it will be the defense. I agree with you. I don't think they've got the skill. And really, when you start at the quarterback position to even mirror what you saw in 2021 with Heupel's team. Look, and Heupel's done really good job. I mean, 7 seasons as a head coach, 4 double-digit win seasons. He's won 30 games over the last 3 years at Tennessee. The thing that jumps out to me about the schedule, you talk about early on, I think they're going to be favored 9 games. They don't have – we talk about the most difficult 3 or 4 game stretches in college football.
They don't have one.
They don't have a 2-game stretch that's difficult.
It is a
give me their 2 most difficult games back-to-back.
2 most difficult games in a row?
Yeah. I'm just talking about just 2 back-to-back.
Who do you think is going to be better, Arkansas or Kentucky?
Arkansas.
Then Arkansas and at Alabama is their toughest back-to-back.
That's their toughest back-to-back.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. It's broken up nicely. It's a good schedule.
Favorable schedule. Even I'm not just saying to break in a quarterback. I'm saying any SEC team would take this Tennessee schedule right now, I think.
19 of you did not have Tennessee ranked in your top 25. 19 of you gave up on this Tennessee team. Rosie Langello, the sports director at WSFA, friend of the show.
She voted?
Highest ranked Tennessee voter at number 7. She had number 1 Ohio State, number 2 Penn State, number 3 Texas, number 4 Oregon, number 5 Clemson, number 6 Alabama, number 7 the Tennessee Volunteers. She believes that Josh Heupel will figure out a way at quarterback. Here is the Tennessee coach talking about quarterbacks without Nico back before he got Aguilar after his SEC spring game.
Our coaches and staff, guys that have been here over the last 4 years, have rebuilt this program, and it's built to win. And I say that as we're moving forward from today, too. This program's ready to go win next fall. And as a program, since we've been here, we've won with a lot of different QBs, done it historically in my career with a lot of different QBs. Some of those guys have been older, some of them have been younger, but we'll have a quarterback that's ready to go win and help us compete for a championship.
I didn't have him in my top 25. I don't know where you guys had him. I had him at 27th. I do think the defense will win 8 games for them. I think Heupel's a hell of a coach, but I've got 7 teams out of the SEC in front of Tennessee this year.
I
think
Tennessee, 7.
Yeah, Tennessee is right there in the middle, the 8th best team in the conference.
Wow, 7. Brownie, I'm going to pull up where we had him here.
Okay. You got mine? Because I can pull it up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you just tell me if you'd argue with any of these 7.
All right, go.
LSU,
These are better, obviously better than Tennessee.
LSU,
okay.
Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Florida, Auburn.
Ryan, you had him 16.
So I had him pretty high. Auburn, I don't know if I would say is obviously better.
I mean, I don't have a much better.
I don't know that I would say Ole Miss is obviously better. I think Ole Miss will be better. But, I mean, could both of those end up with 3 losses in your mind?
Oh, yeah.
Ole Miss and Tennessee. So, yeah. I don't know that I'd say Auburn or Tennessee are obviously better. Could be better, no doubt.
I had them 14.
Did you? So you had them higher than me.
Well, I tell you what, if they end up being where you guys have them, where Rosie has them,
it's a heck of a job.
We're going to be talking about Josh Heupel as one of the 10 best coaches in football.
That's my other thing I had written down here. This is an opportunity for Josh Heupel. I already like the guy more because of the way he handled the Nico situation.
Oh, yeah. I think
right?
a lot of people love
I think
that.
his fan base, he's almost 100% because of that. Yeah.
And I think if he does a good job on the field this year, has them in the playoff conversation in November, right there in that 14 to 16 range, or if he's as high as Rosie has him at 7, this is an opportunity, as you said, for Heupel to change the way I think he's perceived nationally as a coach.
Well, you might think this is crazy, but if they somehow were to go into October undefeated, I think you can almost go on and book them in the college football playoff.
As a
just because of the schedule. Yeah.
If they go into October?
Yeah, I mean, if they
so
beat,
you would say then their losses are at Alabama and
at Florida,
or
but
they've beaten Georgia.
That makes that Georgia game huge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you are able to beat Georgia at home in September, and this is going to be the skinniest Georgia-Tennessee number we've seen in forever. If you're able to win that game somehow, I think that you win, and we'll see the percentages. Hey, Tennessee's got a before the season 30% chance to get to the playoffs. They win that game, it goes up to about 75.
What was that number the other day? 5?
5 or 6.
5 or 6. That's Georgia at Tennessee, week 3.
Yeah.
2:30 ABC game, not a night game at Neyland.
And let me make a great point for you here. It's me saying I'm going to make a great point.
Yeah, that's quite a setup.
It's a lot of pressure.
All right, let's do this.
Gunnar Stockton's first true road game start.
Yep.
Marshall Austin Peay, then he's at Tennessee. You don't know what you got in Gunnar Stockton.
You don't know what you got in either quarterback, really.
Until that game on the road at Neyland Stadium. Ouch.
Yeah, I would go over under 4.5 picks combined.
Yeah, between the two.
Yeah. That's a good over under right there.
That is Tennessee today in Champions Boxing 40-40 countdown at number 22. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Show being brought to you today in part by our friends at Bojangles. Tell us about Bojangles.
It can be bow time for you at Bojangles. Everybody loves good dipping sauce on this platform, I know, right? Up here on this set, and I'm sure many of you do. From savory to sweet, Bojangles has got that dipping sauce for you. And you know what goes great with a Bojangles dipping sauce? Some of those hand-breaded chicken tenders you can get right now at Bojangles. So go to your local Bojangles now and enjoy everything that they've got, from that jalapeno creamy ranch to that peach honey pepper, all those great dipping sauces. It can be bow time for you. It's bow time at Bojangles.
Hey, and if you're looking for a spot to watch a little Murray State Duke, Game 3, Super regionals. Am I pushing that a little too much?
That's a bit of a sell.
How about
right
this Game 3 Stanley Cup Finals
Okay,
tonight?
that's a little better, yeah.
Edmonton, Florida. Look, Odie's Tavern, fantastic. Get in there, enjoy lunch or dinner. Rodney Davis has been doing it for almost 40 years now. From the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets, the Odie's Famous Cup cocktails. 2 locations, the original Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Get in and see Will Laver and that great staff. Birmingham institution is Odie's Tavern.
Okay. Can you give me the Mike Morgan tweet? You know Mike Morgan, see him play-by-play broadcast on the SEC Network some, ESPN some. Really cool guy. And he tweets this out. Made me laugh out loud. I spit my transfusion out. Yeah. At this point, I'm convinced the Braves are tanking for Arch Manning. The Braves are now 10 games below 500. They have lost 7 straight games. This team is lost.
Yeah, they've lost 14 of 17. They get swept by the Giants over the weekend, and you start to look at the numbers. I mean, look, they're kind of middle of the pack. Offensively, they're 18th. Pitching, they're 13th. Fielding, they're 2nd. They've got the 2nd best fielding percentage in baseball. Like, you don't understand why it's not coming together. We mentioned Brian Snitker last week. I think it could be as early as this week.
Well, I was reading this morning.
And I'm talking about him getting fired.
Yeah. I was reading this morning. Some of the guys that cover the Braves on a regular basis, Mark Bowman of the MLB Network and or MLB.com, I should say, and Dave O'Brien, who covered them forever for the AJCs, now with the Athletic, were kind of debating, would it even matter? Like everybody, it's the knee-jerk reaction. The first thing you want to do is fire the coach or fire the coordinator. And their debate was, if you watch this team, it's not you fire Snitker all you want, but it is not fixing anything. And, I trust those guys. They're around the team every day. They know it far better than I do. There's no doubt about that. But that was what these guys that cover the Braves are saying is like, it may make you feel better to fire Brian Snitker and you get your pound of flesh. It's not changing this team. This team is who they are.
Hard to believe they're 10 games below 500, and they're on the road tonight at Milwaukee, 6:40 first pitch. By the way, if you're a good series, Dodgers-Padres, 2 of the best teams in baseball, they start a series tonight. If you don't think there's fine print in television contracts, I am sure that this is the only way. This is a 5:40 game on FS1 tonight. You don't have to watch a regional network to see this game. This is nationally on FS1 tonight, 5:40. Marlins in Pittsburgh to play the Pirates. Somewhere in the fine print, I think it says you've got to at least have one broadcast of every franchise in the Fox contract.
This is when Vandy had the 2:30 CBS kick back in the day, and you're like, oh, yeah, they haven't done it in 3 years. They got to do it now.
Well, I mean, if Paul Skeens was on the hill, you'd be like, okay, if you haven't watched that guy pitch.
Maybe Skeens is on the hill.
I'll get you the story.
Chance for a no-hitter if he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's incredible. I'm telling you, if he stays healthy, he is going to go down as one of the top 5 pitchers of all time.
Whoa.
I think he's that good. I mean, again, over the weekend, he's got to get the hell out of Pittsburgh.
He
can't get run support.
I play fantasy baseball, Lance. And I don't think you can ever make a projection about pitching anymore because I've got Blake Snell.
Okay.
Where's he spent most of the season? 60-day
DL.
Yep. I've got Glasnow. Where's he spent most of the time?
Same.
Both of these are Dodgers, by the way. I've got Suzuki.
Yeah, I appreciate you getting these guys on your roster.
Well, you get counts for strikeouts and wins.
Yep.
Most of the season on the DL right now.
This was the Dodgers staff last year too.
Corbin, what's the guy from Arizona?
Corbin Burns.
Yeah, I had him.
He's on the DL now.
Tommy John surgery. Yeah. And not even no chance of him coming back.
We'll see him maybe next year.
Yeah. So all of these,
No, that's what I'm saying. Like
everybody's these arms, inflammation, soreness.
But if he
tightness.
does stay healthy, I think he is that dominant to get another dominant performance. At least they got a win. He didn't get a win over the weekend. So, I can see them nationally broadcast if it didn't line up with Skeens.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does not, Lance.
I don't know about you guys. When I go to see my team, when I pay hard-earned money to go see my team, I want to see them win. So here's a little PSA for Braves fans. If you want to see the Braves win, this is your coming weekend. Outside of the Rockies coming in for 3 to Truist, I don't know when you can actually go over there and say. I can almost guarantee you 2 or 3 with the Rockies. I can almost guarantee.
It's a bad squad right now, the Rockies.
I'd go ahead and tell you, if you're wondering, Jim, it sounds like your roster, you've landmined every good pitcher on your roster. I've got Chris Sale still. No arm issues yet. Stay tuned.
Probably take a liner to the head tonight against Milwaukee.
I've got another Dodger in Yamamoto. We're still waiting for an injury.
Did you have the pitcher whose catcher plunked him? Did you see that video?
I did, yeah.
Have you seen that video?
No.
Why in Major League Baseball we do it like Little League Baseball? You still got to throw it down to second base.
So pitcher makes his last warm-up pitch, and he turns and starts to walk off the mound, and the catcher is throwing down to second. Like Dunaway said, we did that, and it delayed every game in Little League because it always went through to center field. So we had to wait for the center fielder to, he's not paying attention, so it goes all the way to the fence. He has to go get it. They still do it in Major League Baseball. Drills he throws a rifle shot right in the pitcher's head. Yep. It drops the pitcher like a bag of potatoes.
Yeah, stays in the game, though.
Yeah, he did stay in the game.
I'm sure you guys have seen the viral video of the softball guy. He gets one off the ankle, and it goes straight to the third baseman, and he's limping, and the third baseman throws it and hits him in the head.
I've not seen that. That's fantastic.
So
that's fantastic. Okay, before we do the viewing menu, brought to you by our friends at Michelson, the Stallions run is over as Spring League champions. They won 2 USFL, 1 UFL. They got beat yesterday by Michigan. I was trying to watch that broadcast.
Is that the fastest season of any seasons?
It's pretty quick. Is it 9 or 10 regular season games and then 2 playoffs?
I thought it was 10. I think
rounds
you get
of the
5
playoffs?
and 5, but I'm not sure.
Championship weekend's coming up this weekend. Michigan finally beats Pittsburgh. They were, I think, 0-7. Joe Tess may have said once or 7 times during the broadcast in the new alliteration. But Tessitore and Palmer, fantastic part. The broadcast seems such a big time. They'll do the championship game coming up Saturday night. Our buddy Lugs, I think, was on the sideline for the Stallions, and then Sam Acho was on the sidelines for the Michigan Panthers. Every time I flipped over to try to watch this game, it's Sam Acho. I mean, it had to be 15 minutes with the backup quarterback letting you hear what the play call was going to be, and then him asking, okay, what's it going to be? And then the quarterback telling me what the play is going to be. Then the play is happening while he's telling me what the play is going to be. And then Joe Test, and I can't get any replays or anything because now it's back to Acho. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah, Sam Acho. Yeah.
Acho again saying, okay, listen to it again. Okay, what's it going to be? I think we're going to da-da-da-da. And I'm like, guys, okay, I understand the technology. I can hear the plays when you're doing it normally. It's too much sometimes. Just let the game happen. Let it speak for itself.
I had a slight temptation to turn over there, and I'm glad I didn't now. So
I was like, I want to see the football game. Yeah, I screamed that one time.
Yeah, they're overthinking it, right? They're like, we're the offshoot league that we're struggling, to be viewed in anywhere near the same level as college football, let alone the NFL. So we got to do creative, different things to make people tune in. And I always say, I think you've got to lean into what's comfortable with the viewer. And what is comfortable with the viewer is the play-by-play guy and the analyst doing the game, occasionally kick it down to the sideline reporter for an injury update, maybe a feel-good story, a forced halftime interview with the coach, which is always terrible.
I mean, I hate not getting a replay. I hate it.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see a replay.
Do what's comfortable, though, is my point.
Because there's one play that I didn't think he reached the first down marker, but I couldn't tell.
Did you catch yourself going back?
No.
Rewinding yourself?
No, it was
I get
UFL
so
game.
thrown off when I do that.
I know, and you forget to catch back up.
Yeah. But I was sitting there going, come on, man. Just show me the game. And then the player interviews I know you can interview them on the sidelines right after a big play, but the guy just caught, I think it was a 79-yard touchdown pass. Guess what he's doing when you're trying to interview him on the sidelines afterwards, Sam Acho? He's like,
yeah, he's out of breath. Yeah.
What's your why?
What's your why?
What's your why?
Why he's breathing on the sidelines?
Oxygen. That's my why.
My why am I doing this interview is my why.
Michelson Laser Vision for the viewing menu. What's Tyler watching tonight? No more UFL until Saturday night.
205-969-8100, the number that I called more than 2 decades ago. Make sure you ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She is going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. 205-969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
And before he gets out of context, he's a fantastic broadcaster.
The cleanup on aisle 3.
I'm friends with Luke's. Would love to see him a little bit more.
We didn't get a lot of Luke's. We got more
Not
Acho.
when I was watching. And he's put in a bad situation. That's what they want in the broadcast. I just think it's a flaw in the broadcast. It gives me too much.
You know what they ought to do, Tyler? They ought to let him tell a really bad joke and call it Acho and cheese.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
No, it's not. It's terrible. But it's something like these broadcasts would do to try to get people to watch.
Well, tonight on the viewing menu, I've got a little something for everyone. If you want something sort of rewatchable, something that is just comfort food in movie format, you can go to ETV tonight at 6:30 and watch Wedding Crashers.
Funny movie.
Love that.
It's a good one.
Endlessly quotable and endlessly funny.
Yeah. Jane Seymour has, she likes those younger guys, doesn't she?
She did, yeah.
And then I still haven't seen the new Predator movie on Hulu, so I'll be planning on watching that today at some point.
I'm going to watch it tonight at some point.
It's got like a 94 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, that's really good, right?
I don't plan on watching it today.
I'm not surprised. If you're into documentaries, you can go to the HBO Max and watch Pee-wee as Himself. It released this year, and it just flew under my radar, but it's Paul Reubens recounting his life story and the creation of the Pee Wee Herman character. So
I saw The Big Adventure when I was a kid. I thought it was funny back then. He drives me absolutely insane.
Yep. One of the great rock stars impersonations, though. He always nailed that one.
He nailed it. I'll just never forget our former coworkers, Tuttle and Klein. You remember those guys?
Oh, yeah.
Used to do 107.7 The X. And they, when they were in a different market, had Paul Reubens come in to do an interview and said, Paul Reubens walks in and he's not the friendliest guy in the world. He's just kind of socially awkward, but he's a normal guy. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go get ready for the interview. And like shows back up, full Pee-wee costume, Pee-wee persona, will not come out, like even in the breaks, will not come out of the persona.
Yeah.
Like he was kind of a
Larry,
method
the cable
actor in
guy
his
has to
approach.
do that.
Yeah.
I think I told the story like Frank Caliendo when he used to come in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
And he would, you couldn't get him off these characters. And to me, it got really annoying.
It does, but I guess I see it, man. I guess they could just
It's hard to
kinda stay
rope
in
them
it.
back in, though.
Yeah, I know.
And then finally on Peacock, if you're looking to go to the movies this weekend, they're remaking How to Train Your Dragon, which was a big DreamWorks movie when I was growing up. And they're making it a live action to coincide with the new addition to Universal Parks. So Peacock is doing a special sneak preview of that movie tonight to try and promote it. So if you're interested, or if your kids are interested, they can watch that tonight.
Tyler, guess what me and Jack watched over the weekend?
Oh, you
What
want to
did
see
you
it?
guys end up watching?
Sinners.
Oh, what'd you think?
I thought it was very, very, very good. I did think about these two. These two would not like it.
No.
Not at all.
Tyler with a hard no.
But
No,
I
no,
did
no.
think that, when you combine genres like you do, and really almost three different genres, almost like a musical in there as well. But I thought it was really, really, really well done.
Yeah, it's like From Dusk Till Dawn mixed with like Django Unchained or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and Haley Steinfeld was really good in it.
She's great.
Yeah.
That's what Tyler's watching, brought to you by our friends at Michelson. We move to hour 2 when we come back. That includes more college football. Our spotlight coming up away from Tennessee at 22. I'll ask this question. I'll give you time to think about this. What coach needs to give up being a head coach at a program that's going nowhere and become a really good coordinator at a power program that may lead to a better head coaching job? The Chip Kelly version, even though Chip Kelly's not a head coach again, but he left UCLA as a head coach to help Ohio State win a national championship. The next generation of that guy, I've got one in mind. I'll tell you who it is next right here on TNR.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming Alabama basketball painting, Buzzer Beater. Closing out the regular season, Alabama and Auburn faced off in a top 10 matchup. With less than 1 second remaining in overtime and the game tied at 91, Mark Sears launched a 15-foot floater that sealed the Tide's victory. Visit DanielMooreArt.com and see the artist's preliminary sketch of this historic Bama win. And take advantage of special pre-production pricing for Buzzer Beater.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We'll get back to my question to these guys in just a second. We start this hour off with our college football spotlight brought to you by Shunnarah. Tyler, hit it, man.
The College Football Spotlight.
The Shunnarah Spotlight every day brought to you by Alexander Shunnarah. One thing Alex wanted to do was create a firm that could handle any issue his community faced. He's done that. They now handle not only personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability claims, workers' compensation, and a host of others. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com.
I find this very interesting. You know, we're sort of sports broadcast geeks up here when we look at broadcast and the way they're done and who broadcasts what games in this. Pete Thamel, interesting thing about the college football playoffs, a tweet. I think you may have it, Forrester. They are working on selling off a semifinal college football playoff game to TNT. They've already got a deal where they broadcast that Friday night game in the first round from Ross Dellinger, excuse me, not Pete Thamel. In a stunning move, ESPN is finalizing an agreement to extend its sub-license package with TNT Sports to include the college football playoff semifinal. That's one of 2 games. The deal would grant TNT Sports broadcasting rights to one college football semifinal game annually in 2026, 27, and 2028. That's big property right there. Now, ESPN's paid a ton for these broadcast rights, Brownie, but now they're selling off at least one game in the first round and now a semifinal game. I mean, you're down to your final 4 there. What does this tell you?
Well, it tells me, first of all, TNT's got some money free in their sports department because they're not paying the NBA any money anymore. So there was probably TNT's not just going to punt on sports, right? They're going to keep doing sports.
What do you think this a la carte one-off costs?
I don't know. It's a good question. I'd like to know.
You think we could roll through it on Double Down Media? Could we have bid with TNT Sports?
Yeah, I mean, why did they not come to us just to get a bid to try to drive the price up, right?
Scott does good graphics. Scott, would you be able to do primo graphics where people are not bitching and complaining everywhere?
Well, the problem would be
I'm in.
The concern would have been that we somehow quad boxed it, and we're interviewing the Chamber of Commerce from
South Bend, Indiana.
From South Bend, Indiana, while the game was going on.
Yeah. Lance could ask him about the rocket.
You know what's so funny? The perception on that whole game was like we're the ones that sold this, and we were making, monetarily we were making out like bandits because we sold out with. How much did we make on that game?
We didn't get paid a dime.
Yeah, we did it.
Thank you, SEC Network.
0.
Yeah.
Exposure.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that some of it is TNT's got some money, so ESPN was probably able to get a premium deal for that. But your point is that now I guarantee you if the semifinal day were the Rose Sugar Day, there's 0 chance they'd be doing this.
Right. Well, those are quarterfinals, right? January 1st.
That's
but
right.
They do get that. Don't they get the one night before that? The
TNT?
Yeah.
I got to find it. Hang on.
No, they don't, do they? They get the December 31st game? I think they do, don't
we
they?
had TNT last year on a couple of the games.
So is this coming season, or is this starting next year?
It says 26, 27, 28. I assume that's next year.
I don't know. I think we consider the 26 broadcast.
You're right. It could be the 2026. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
Yeah. Semifinals are this year, Thursday night, January 8th, Friday night, January 9th. And you're like, why would they play these on a Thursday and Friday? Because the NFL is playing on that Saturday already. Right. So you're going to avoid the NFL playoffs on that Saturday.
That, though.
Oh, I do too. I get a Thursday night, Friday night, and then NFL playoffs all weekend.
And we might have a Thursday night game in Tuscaloosa.
No. This is the semifinals. This is when they're already in the Fiesta and the Peach. Yeah.
To get back what we know, though, one semifinal game, I wonder if ESPN gets to choose which game. You wait for the matchup, and then we get the top choice. You guys are paying for the other game.
Yeah, I mean, if I was paying the one-off and it wasn't the price point,
I'm not buying the Friday night game necessarily. I'm buying the second game.
Yeah, don't you just assume that you're going to have – so last year you had Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame. I mean, as a company, we would have been all about Penn State, Notre Dame as well, right?
That's right.
Yeah, you want Ohio State, Texas, but, hey, it's still going to be a really good game.
Yeah, I just don't know if Thursday night's better than Friday night and the TV numbers, or Friday better than Thursday. But it's interesting to me that ESPN bought this, and we knew that they would probably sell off some parts. I didn't know if they would ever sell off a semifinal game, though. That's pretty big numbers, pretty big rating number there that they're selling off. But I think it shows you that there is great value in selling off this package that ESPN has. That's coming up in 2026, 27, and 28. ESPN extending their relationship with TNT when it comes to the college football playoffs. Back to college football after we tell you about one of our great sponsors, that is our friends at A+. They changed the way Brown and LT's bathrooms and kitchens look.
Yeah, did a tremendous job for both of us. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. I'll just go ahead and tell you that's the website you're going to want, AlabamaBathRemodels.com. Scott is going to show you some before and afters of the Brown bathroom. When it came time to redo it, my wife Jennifer scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. Brad Bell was the guy she selected. I'm glad she did, because Brad came in and did tremendous work for us. He can do the same for you. He works all around this area, but he is, thanks to you guys, super slim. So you want to go ahead and make sure you can get him to come out and look at your job so he can get the right crews handled. And that's what Brad does well, is he goes out and gets the proper crews. It's not just some ragtag group of people. He's got the crews that want to work for him because they know the jobs he's doing. They know the way he operates, so he's able to get those crews when he needs them and get your job done. 205-422-1758 is his number, 205-422-1758. He specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. It's not all he does, but it's his specialty, master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. You could see more, AlabamaBathRemodels.com. That is AlabamaBathRemodels.com, or call Brad, 205-422-1758.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. Prostate health to kidney stones, and guys, just early detection, so important with so many things that can cause you problems health-wise throughout your life. That's why you need dedicated professionals who are on your side to help you stay healthy. Urology Centers of Alabama are those people. 35 urologists at 16 convenient locations. That's how awesome Urology Centers of Alabama is. Schedule an appointment. Get more details today. 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. Baylor-Auburn alert here. Auburn opens up on a Friday night. Slight favorite. Tough game in Waco. Brownie, some interesting news there?
Matt Mosley, our guy out in Dallas, big Baylor guy, says...
Jerry's one of those guys that's going to always enjoy this.
Mosley tells us the Tigers won't stand a chance now. You know why? Baylor blackout. They're going to black out the Brazos.
Oh, no. It's a blackout
Brazos
night?
Blackout game. It's a blackout game.
I just sent Mosley. Auburn was 2.5. I'd take them minus 5,000 now.
Yeah, you're saying load up on the Tigers with Baylor blacking it out?
Yeah, the hokey blackout.
Forster made a point in the bathroom. That's where we were talking.
You guys are really close on this show. That's why I enjoy coming on this show so much.
I make a lot of good points in the bathroom.
You guys talk to each other in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I don't know who does that. Jerry Jones does that.
Forster makes a good point. He's like, when you have as many, if you're one of those teams that has a lot of uniform combos like Baylor does a blackout even make an impact? And I said to Scott, if you don't have a lot of uniform combos, does a blackout make an impact? I'd like to know the overall record on the blackout. It doesn't seem like it goes well.
The whiteout's a little bit better if you take Penn State out of the equation because that's normally a bigger game that they lose.
They never win them.
But here's what I would ask. To me, this is more about getting the crowd fired up and getting everybody involved. This is game one. The expectation for Baylor is to win the Big 12 this year. You've got an SEC team rolling into your stadium. You don't really need a blackout in this situation, do you?
Let's think of all the things like the whiteout. It's intimidating when the whole stadium's white.
Oh, yeah. I like the whiteout better than the blackout.
I think I do, too. The blackout, you sort of disappears into this. I've been to one big one at Georgia, and it was intimidating pregame, but
it was that you undersold that. It was maybe the most intimidating pregame atmosphere I've ever seen.
The quote I gave you in the press box was, I feel like Alabama's the United States and we're playing in Moscow.
Yeah, now that was a little Jimmy Bama sneaking out right there, but it did feel that way.
Yeah. Because everybody was dressed in black, and it was 92,000 in black, and that was
a juiced environment.
But that was back before it was overdone.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking almost 20 years ago. But I agree with you guys. That atmosphere was incredible. But how did that work out for Georgia?
Not great, Lance. Not great.
Do you like striped stadiums, the checkerboard stadiums?
Tennessee does the checkerboard some. Auburn does the striped some.
I like the pure whiteout if we're going to do one.
I may be just a traditionalist here, but I'm like, wear whatever the crap you want to wear. We just need to have a good team.
Well, that's one of the reasons I don't like the blackout. I don't like the alternative black uniforms for almost anybody.
Yeah. The all blacks.
The part of me feels like
This sets up Auburn to where they're stormtroopers, right?
It does feel hokey. Yes, it does set Auburn up to where they're stormtroopers. They wanted to.
They wear the white pants, white face mask.
I like that.
It's a good look.
It is a good look.
Good look.
It's definitely their best road look.
Yeah, so I would do that. I'd go the white face mask.
You know what's so funny? Advantage Auburn on this. And I wasn't even kidding when Mosley sent that. To me, the advantage is visiting team.
I just wonder, and I've never coached a football game in my life, but I look at the great coaches like Nick Saban. Now, look, Alabama never does alternate uniforms. The closest they ever got was that horrific houndstooth color they did against Ole Miss that year.
Yeah, there's somebody on.
You should drag those out and burn them.
There's some account on social media that keeps trying to mock up some Alabama alternate uniforms. They did an all gray one the other day that literally made me throw up. I had to stop eating.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Tennessee all gray was awful.
But Nick Saban probably, of more than anyone since Bryant, had the power. Like if Nick Saban had said, you know what, I'd like an alternate uniform for the Tennessee game.
It would help us in recruiting.
He would have had an alternate uniform.
I don't think anybody would have said anything.
Yeah, I think he would have had it. Now, Alabama fans would have bitched about it, but Nick Saban would not have cared.
Yeah, I don't think Alabama fans would have bitched about it.
I think they would. Some of your old school Bama fans. Oh, yeah.
They would have been like,
dude.
Nick Saban wants it.
They won the game.
It's going to help us in recruiting.
They won the game with that houndstooth collar.
Yeah, some would have bitched, but the majority of people would have jumped on board.
Yeah, but now my point being, I never see great coaches do stuff like that I can remember. So I just look at it and say, are you sending a message to your team by doing this, and is it always a positive message?
Yeah. Do we have to have something extra to beat these guys?
That's
Are we
right.
not better than them already?
Yeah.
Baylor blackout on the Brazos with Auburn coming to town Friday night. That's new for you today. Now to my question.
Hey, sorry, but I can't believe you guys don't just love these.
No, that's who
is
did this?
Terrible.
Do you know? Give credit to whoever put these together.
The graphic god, Jim.
The graphic god.
It's Washington State is what it is.
That's a small G god. That's not a big G god.
Yeah, the graphic god. I worship at a different altar of uniforms, by the way.
I mean, that is a terrible. Lance is right. If that's Washington State, first of all, they got Ryan Williams playing for them, which is a win for them. But second of all, that's a good Washington State uniform, Scott.
Yeah.
That's a really good Washington State uniform. Put that cougar on the side.
Yeah, I'll buy that if you're Washington State.
Yeah. That's that should never even make it into the eyes of the spirit world of the graphic god there.
Like, who has monkeyed with their uniforms way more than they should is Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State's worn some.
Yep. But I do like traditionally they come back, not in the Michigan game, they jack that up sometimes, but when they're playing for a championship, they have their traditional uniforms. Their championship uniform.
Yep. But Ohio State's got such a good uniform to be screwing around with it.
Alabama, USC, Penn State.
Never
Are those
messed with
the
them.
only three?
That never changed their uniforms?
Yeah, that have never changed.
Auburn.
They did the drop.
Alabama has changed it before.
Alabama's gone white helmet.
They've gone white helmets.
Yeah.
Auburn did the drop shadow number in the 90s, but other than that, they haven't really messed with them that much.
Yeah. But I mean, really, Penn State and USC have never touched it.
Yeah.
Well, USC now does numbers on helmets sometimes. Sometimes they don't.
I don't remember numbers
once
on
a year
helmets.
they got numbers on helmets.
Are you serious? They should never do that. They got such a good helmet.
You don't see the number on the helmet?
I cannot remember USC playing a game.
And I've watched every game.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to Google USC numbers on helmet.
Not USC. That's Penn State. Penn State numbers on helmets.
You said USC.
You said USC.
Oh, okay. Well, Penn State.
Oh,
numbers on
yeah. I've
helmets.
seen Penn State number on helmets. They shouldn't do that.
No, they should not do that.
So
I agree with you.
That's their alternate uniform. They wear the numbers on the helmet.
So really, the only pure product in college football is USC.
Has Texas messed with theirs much? I don't remember Texas.
Texas had a black uniform.
Oh, yeah, they did. I
It was
remember
awful.
that now. Yeah. Well, that's another one.
USC's Trojan has changed over the years on their helmets.
I'm okay with that. I mean, those things can change, but
it's been a while.
Yeah, but back in the 70s, it was much smaller on the helmet. It's gotten bigger on the helmet.
Here's Penn State with the.
That's not a good one.
It's not awful, but I'm just like, what's the purpose? You've already got it on the jersey, bigger than on the helmet.
Nebraska did the black jerseys too.
Yeah.
They messed that up.
Yeah.
All right, a little uniform there. My question after I tell you about our friends at New York Butcher Shop. LT, what did you get at New York Butcher this weekend?
I picked up 3 fillets and the goat cheese mashed potatoes on Friday from the Greystone location. Absolutely fantastic all of the time. So consistent, so incredible. Got Jim to dust up 3 of the fillets from the fresh meat specialty items, deli sandwiches for lunch or dinner. Fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts. One-stop dinner shop, the original in Cahaba Heights, newest location, Greystone, Highway 119. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
Okay, give me a coach. I'll start it off, but a coach that you think should just abandon being a head coach where they are, go being a coordinator at an elite program to sort of reset their coaching situation.
There is one obvious 1,000% guy should do
Interesting. I wonder if we've got the same guy, because I thought it was obvious,
Yeah.
and he got mentioned several times in the chat room, too.
My guy was actually told, wasn't told, but Athlon Magazine did interview of some ACC folks who said this guy should absolutely leave his program as a head coach and become an elite defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
who's your guy?
Justin Wilcox.
Justin Wilcox. So we all had Justin Wilcox.
Yeah. I mean, there's really no other
Yeah.
ones because Mike Gundy's got too much of an ego to leave Oklahoma State.
Well, I wouldn't even I don't even know which. I guess he's an offensive guy.
Oh, yeah.
Remember,
when's the last time he called plays though?
Recently.
He
does.
Keep in mind now, this is a guy not too long ago that when his defense was on the field, wasn't even on.
Yeah,
he was over talking to his offense, had his back to him.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dan Mullen's different level, and he just took the job at UNLV. I think he probably would be better off as an offensive coordinator with another school, although he's making a lot of money. But Justin Wilcox is the ultimate example. He is never going to get a commitment from Cal football, ever. And he's a really good coach.
Yeah.
Misplaced in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
They're in a terrible conference situation. He's got no money to deal with. I don't know what they're paying him. The good news for him is Cal's probably in no position to buy out his contract. So even if he loses some, he's going to keep getting paid.
There's not an expectation.
Yeah, there's not an expectation. But I wonder, what do you think Cal pays him?
Cal probably pays him 3.5.
I mean, he could almost get that as a.
Well, he's got good agents.
Yeah, I don't think they can afford much more than that.
I think he's making 5 to 8.
4.6, according to my quick Google search here. 4.6.
Yeah,
he's not going to get that as a coordinator, but
I mean, you look at Fernando Mendoza. He finally has a quarterback, and you lose him to Indiana, and that just shows you the difference between the ACC money and the Big Ten money. And if you are losing quarterbacks to Indiana when you finally have a really good player, you're not going to be able to recoup those.
You got Ott coming back. He goes to Oklahoma.
Yeah. So, again, your best players are going to get cherry-picked much like you're a Group 5 anyway.
Yeah, I would. You know, I thought, because I was thinking Wilcox right away. I didn't know both of you would have it, and then I saw it in the chat room, so I thought if it's that obvious, maybe there's another not obvious one.
There's not.
And there's just not enough track record of him as an offensive coordinator, but Jeff Lebby would be another guy I would consider. But I don't know if I've got enough track record to know that he would be just a dynamite offensive coordinator.
I still think Jeff Lebby believes this himself. Like Dan Mullen had Mississippi State in maybe a better spot than Lane Kiffin had Ole Miss. And if you really believe that you can dominate the Magnolia State, maybe Lebby believes, hey, I'm going to get Mississippi State winning 9-10 games a year, kind of like Ole Miss has them right now.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't fall asleep on that job yet if I was Lebby, but I did think about Lebby.
Ross says Jeff Lebby. Morgan says Mark Stoops. Now, first of all, Mark Stoops is making $9 million to be the Kentucky coach, so I don't think you're prying him out of that deal. But if you took money off the table, Stoops is not going to win a championship at Kentucky. It's just not going to happen. You're going to say Indiana and SMU did it. Stoops can't make the playoffs at Kentucky.
Well, I was going to bring up the fact that Indiana has ruined this for a lot of people, we would say.
You're right.
Because they did do it
right
at Indiana. But, you could bounce around to places like Matt Campbell at Iowa State. Well, they were one game away from being in last year, right? They were in the championship game.
I mean, yeah, if they beat Arizona State, they're in.
Yeah. In the past, you would have said if it was a cool, good guy at Indiana, you would have said that guy's never going to get him to the playoffs. He should go somewhere else. Well, but Indiana's in there now.
They're not trying to do it in the SEC either. I mean, that changes that a little bit. You have to grant me. Kentucky would minimum have to be 10-2 to make the college football playoffs.
Kentucky, we don't talk about it because they're not a contender, but their schedule's brutal.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, brutal. I mean, they're easy games on the road against Vanderbilt and Louisville to end the season.
And you say it's a brutal schedule, and they do the worst job at scheduling out of the conference of anybody in America.
They got 3 wins, so
that's right. They start with 3.
Toledo, Eastern Michigan, and Tennessee Tech.
Yeah,
Toledo's not a gimme. Yeah,
you don't think Toledo's if he loses the Toledo game?
Yeah. I mean, really, you will start hearing Stoops being fired if he loses to Toledo.
And he's messed around and let Louisville get back good too, and that's
really good.
That's part of his problem.
They're probably a 4 or 5 win team.
I know,
this
year. And they're not making the playoffs. Anyway, that aside, Vol fan says Jeff Lebby. Scott from the back row
has a microphone. Actually,
he has a microphone. He's going to go hot take.
Tell us, Scott, hot take.
I think it's Brent Venables. I mean, I could see him getting fired after this year. I don't think they're going to be very good.
I think they're going to be really improved. The schedule is brutal. But if they go 5-7 or worse, he gets fired.
Yeah, I just think that guy's a much better coordinator than he is a head coach.
Brent Pry, Daniel says, now for those that don't really know a lot about him, head coach of Virginia Tech currently, but was the defensive coordinator at Penn State. Very well thought of as a defensive coordinator. It hasn't really worked out at Virginia Tech.
People expect that program to take a step forward, whatever that means this year. But
they opened with South Carolina.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be last year with their schedule.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Justin Wilcox, unanimous on the board. Nobody saved the Justin Wilcox graphic.
Get out while you can.
It really was, though. After you go through and you look at every program in the Power Four, it is the only obvious one.
All right. When we come back, we will do our 4 downs today, and we have our Bo Tender moment from our friends at Bojangles. Show brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness. Our journey to healthy living starts by going to this website. It's aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Leslie and her board-certified team standing by to help you out. First off, you should know that there's no contract, so you can quit anytime you want if it's not for you. There's no sign-up fees, and you get a first consultation free with Leslie. So there's no out-of-pocket money just to find out what Way to Wellness is all about. Set up that free, no-cost, no-obligation consultation by going to this website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Now, keep in mind, they've got a variety of different ways to help you jumpstart your weight loss. Maybe you want to do the injection therapy. They've got it. Maybe you want meal replacement. They've got it. Protein bars to help you with snacking between meals. Different ways to help you control cholesterol, blood pressure, and, of course, drop some lbs. It's all right there with Way to Wellness. Aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of NextRoundLive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's Bo time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. but it's only here for a limited time. So try chicken and Bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on the next round. Let's do our Bo Tender moment of the day. To start off this segment, brought to you by our friends at Bojangles.
We give you a Bo Tender moment of the day every day because you can enjoy those tenders there at Bojangles from sweet to heat. They've got 7 sauces that will definitely add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with the sauces than hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard or add some tang with barbecue. If you're looking for some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. And if you're craving smooth and creamy, the house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic Bo sauce ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles and order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's Bo time.
Hey, our Bo Tender moment. Yeah, who's the offensive coordinator at North Carolina?
The offensive coordinator at North Carolina. Why is this escaping me?
Is it Freddie Kitchens?
It is Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah.
Okay. Freddie Kitchens over the weekend. It was about a decade ago, aortic dissection. He's had some corrective stuff back in Chapel Hill for the offensive coordinator. And he reminds everybody each day is a gift and a reminder to stay where your feet are. Great to be back home in Carolina after at the Cleveland, the Cleveland Medical Center there. He went up there for a quick procedure. Back about a decade ago, when he was 40 years old, aortic dissection. He's 50 years old now, the former Alabama quarterback, one-time NFL head coach, long-time NFL assistant, and now the offensive coordinator with the Tar Heels.
You know, it's pretty crazy. You remember for a minute when he took over that Browns job, you know, it was kind of a hot name for a minute because, you know, he had so much success as the offensive coordinator the year before.
Yeah, I mean, he was a hot NFL name, to your point.
Yeah, look, and they weren't awful. They were 6-10 that year. I mean, for Cleveland, that's about middle of the road, right?
Freddie has always been one of those guys that's just big. I mean, he's always been kind of a big. When he was a quarterback at Alabama, that's what everybody talked about was how he's just bigger. He does not look like your normal quarterback, just kind of a bigger guy. But that photo Scott just showed, this just sounds like a shot at Freddie. I'm not trying to take a shot. I'm saying I think Freddie looks better in that photo than I've seen him look.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
He'll look a lot better.
But that just makes it sound like I'm taking a shot at old Freddie. I guess I am. But that Freddie right there, he looks better than I've seen him look.
Freddie would tell you, and by the way, super nice guy.
Absolutely.
But one of those guys that probably would say, hey, my diet was absolutely awful. His color's really good.
Yeah. He just looks better in that photo than I've seen him look
just do
at
this.
times.
Go to his Wikipedia right now and look at the photo.
Is it a bad one?
Well, I mean, look, and they control that, right? I mean, I would assume that Freddie Kitchens has somewhat of a say over his Wikipedia.
No, ironically, I think you are the only person that cannot mess with your Wikipedia account.
That's a tough one there. Yeah,
I think it has to be done by
somebody else,
the general public.
Yeah, but you could have a friend.
Like you could do mine, I could do yours.
I mean, his.
I mean, does not it looks like a heart attack waiting to happen.
How much do you think he's lost between the Wikipedia photo and that one on the plane?
That's every bit of 75 pounds.
I was going to 100.
It may not be 100, but Dunaway, that is a lot of weight. I did not know he had gotten that big.
Yeah, and look at the coloring too. I mean,
and people always say when you carry it where I carry it in the stomach, it's the worst kind of weight to carry. That's
Freddie carries a lot in his face too, unfortunately for him.
Me too.
But I say all that to say, I thought when I saw that photo over the weekend, he looks better than I've seen him look in a long time.
But I bet he would like to dig into some of that Bojangles.
That's our Bo Tender moment. Freddie Kitchens looking good at age 50. But just think of the coaches now. Freddie, D'Amico Ryans is well respected in NFL circles. Young Lance Taylor coming up the college ranks, played at Alabama.
Western Michigan,
So real quick on Freddie, because I brought this up a couple of weeks ago, and that's why I kicked myself, and I was like, damn, why do I not remember the OC? If something does happen to Belichick, Freddie Kitchens will be your interim head coach.
Yeah, he was last year in between Mac
At
Brown
Fenway.
for the bowl game.
Yeah, the Fenway game.
Yeah. So he would be. And there was a moment when he was a hot NFL coordinator that people were planning out to the end of Nick Saban. They were like, Freddie Kitchens back to Tuscaloosa as the head coach. And you heard it the last couple of years when D'Amico Ryans, his first year led to Texas. D'Amico Ryans back to Tuscaloosa. These NFL guys, they don't always go back to college to coach. And, Alabama's happy with Kalen DeBoer. But Kitchens and D'Amico Ryans, Mike Shula, go back to him, Lance Taylor, some former players have had a go at it in the coaching ranks.
It's crazy that Freddie has coached as many places as he's coached and has never coached at Alabama.
Yep.
As many coaching changeovers in his career as Alabama has had.
Never came back as an assistant.
Nope.
Especially with his NFL ties.
I know.
Saban loved NFL ties.
Yep. LSU, Mississippi State, North Texas. Then in the NFL, he's coached with Dallas, the Cardinals, the Browns, the Giants, back at South Carolina, now North Carolina. He's never coached down at Alabama. That's pretty hard to believe.
I think I can say this. I believe he was in the mix to be the offensive coordinator when Saban ended up going with Tommy Rees.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So he would have been Saban's last coordinator.
Yep.
Many would say it would have been an improvement.
Well, I would tell you this, that if he had been the offensive coordinator and they had a good year and
Saban retired, you think he might be the head coach?
There would be some people who would have said, just promote Freddie up. Freddie up.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you don't always end up doing the right thing in that situation.
If Freddie's the offensive coordinator, maybe they beat Michigan. They beat Michigan. Good chance they win a national championship.
Maybe Saban doesn't retire.
I still think he retires.
Freddie could have saved Saban.
Yeah. Our friends at Heupel, before we do 4 downs, tell us about Heupel, LT.
205-229-2090. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up this changing weather. I did look ahead. And again, selfishly, the weather is absolutely killing the pool because it's going to be like in the low 80s all week with rain, which means the pool never heats up. But the HVAC unit, sooner or later, you're going to need it. Any of these issues arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
First down.
Current job longer, Josh Heupel or Scott Frost now at UCF for the second go-around.
I don't feel like Heupel's going anywhere, Brown.
That is a destination job now, right?
Well, one thing you always look at on guys like that is, all right, what's their alma mater and how would that play into it? And he and his alma mater don't appear to have very good relationship.
No, but I'll tell you this.
But they could have an opening.
Yeah, they could.
And that's the thing. When you got, if Heupel goes 9-3 with this offense this year, and Venables does what Scott thinks he's going to do, and he gets fired, Oklahoma would have to have an appetite for him. Now, whether or not Heupel would take that job.
I don't know I think it's more on his end, right? Is he felt,
But what is the better job? Now, Oklahoma's an SEC school.
Yeah.
I think Oklahoma probably is a better job. But I don't know.
Marginally,
yeah, I don't
feel
great about it.
Well, you have to ask this question now. It's not the way we used to judge good jobs. You got to ask the question about NIL.
Yeah.
So who's got better NIL?
I mean, I know you've got a Jimmy Haslam there. You don't have a Jimmy Haslam in Oklahoma.
Yeah, but you got an oil man.
Some oil money.
Yeah.
Probably.
I love how every program out there, we've got a big oil man that wants to give, don't we?
Yeah, it's got to have some oil money.
That's right.
I mean, they kept up with Boone Pickens at Oklahoma State. They did okay. Oklahoma did all those years, so they must have a couple of guys.
Like, if Taylor Sheridan, and I know he's probably going to write a dominant, over-the-top woman into Landman Season 2, but Sam Elliott's coming in, wouldn't you have like an NIL angle on this for Landman?
Yeah, I do. What's his big program? What's Billy Bob Thornton's big program?
Well, their big program is Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. Oh, I just write in the guy at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Double Eagle Petroleum. He was right there in that industry.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I will remind you guys that I don't think Barry Switzer was writing those checks himself.
I don't think he was either.
He wasn't filling up those bags by himself.
But I feel like Scott Frost, that's a good enough job that he would just stay there and be content.
Well, he learned his lesson.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
They're roughly the same age.
I would not leave Tennessee for Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'll go
no way
Heupel.
I'd do that. Yeah, I think
Heupel's longer?
I do.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah. Well, now that we've talked it out, I think I'll switch. I think I'll go Frost longer. Because I can see Heupel back to Oklahoma. I don't like him. I'm pissed off at my alma mater until I can be the head coach there. Now, okay.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
I mean, I could see one or both doing what they're doing at their current program longer than this show lasts.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see that. I would agree with you, Dunaway, on that if it were an obvious upgrade. I just don't know that Oklahoma's an obvious upgrade.
Second down.
Very interesting here, though. More total touchdowns, Joey Aguilar or Nico at Aguilar's former school, UCLA. Former school for a minute.
I trust Josh Heupel's offense. He's an offensive guy.
It's not like Nico had a lot of touchdowns last year. I think he had 16 or 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely go Aguilar here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tennessee here.
Guess I'll go Aguilar. Don't feel great about really either one of them tearing it up. I think they're both going to be about what they were, honestly. I say that with Aguilar. I don't think his numbers will be what they were at Appalachian State. But I think Nico is going to be the same Nico at UCLA. I think his numbers are going to be what he did at Tennessee. Don't you? Like,
Probably.
I mean, blind taste test, you're going to say, which year was Nico at Tennessee, which year was at UCLA? And I'm going to say, I don't really know. I'll just have to flip a quarter on that one. I think he's going to be the same guy out there, I think. So I guess I'd go Aguilar.
Third down.
Johnny Depp, 62 years old. Johnny Depp, John Smoltz, better career.
John Smoltz. Unbelievable Hall of Fame starting pitcher. Would have been a Hall of Fame relief pitcher. Not bad with the stick. Unbelievable with a golf club. Pretty good businessman. Pretty good broadcaster. John Smoltz.
Yeah, I would go Small. I think he's a really good broadcaster. I think he is the best to ever do the combination of a starting pitcher and a closer. Like Dennis Ericsley did it through a no-hitter, but he wasn't the dominant starter that Smoltz was.
Yeah.
So I don't know anybody that's ever done both roles as good as Smoltz.
Yeah, I think I would go Smoltz.
I never really liked Johnny Depp. Like, I like some of his movies. I liked
Pirates.
Blow.
I like Pirates. That's about all I like him in.
Donnie Brasco.
Edward Scissorhands.
I liked Edward Scissorhands. I didn't really like the Pirates, though.
Yeah, I like the Pirates franchise.
Yeah, I like the first one. Maybe the second one.
I saw Smoltz tell a great story. I came across it on TikTok somehow, but it was 1991 NLCS when they were in Pittsburgh and they win Game 6 and Game 7 to go to the playoff, to go to the World Series, Brady's first World Series. And he said, we take a cab over to Three Rivers. He goes, it's a very short cab ride. He goes, we get in the cab. And he goes, it's me. And there were two front office guys in the back seat. He goes, but I sit shotgun next to the cab driver. And he goes, for some reason, he doesn't talk to me. He looks in the mirror. I guess they're just used to that. And he's like, where are you guys from? And they're in Atlanta. He goes, so you came here to watch your team lose tonight. And they're like, well, we hope not. I hate that you came this far. That Smoltz guy, he ain't got it. And he's like, he never once looks over at me and realizes John Smoltz is right next to him.
Yeah.
So
the best TikTok Brave stuff from that era is Greg Maddox. So to see Eddie Perez tell the story of a June game with Bagwell at the plate.
That's amazing, isn't it?
And pregame, there's like, whatever you do, don't call something a change-up or a breaking ball inner part of the plate, because that's his sweet spot. He'll knock it out of the ballpark. But the Braves have such a big lead. Maddox is dealing, and he calls for the hanging ball right over the inside part of the plate, and Bagwell jacks it into the seats for a one-run homer. And Perez was like confused. You didn't want that pitch. You literally said, don't call that pitch. And he goes, that team's good. We're going to play him again in the postseason. He's going to be expecting that pitch. And he struck him out on 3 pitches away with the same arm angle, same speed and everything, but away from him. Made Bagwell look like an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing about Maddox.
Yeah.
Was Smoltz, I think Smoltz was the guy on the mound. Bobby Cox, we did an event with Bobby Cox several years ago, and he told this story, which is an amazing story. They're playing at that little bandbox in Cincinnati, and Smoltz gives up a home run, and they set the fireworks off. Smoltz gives up another home run. Next guy, they set the fireworks off. Third guy comes up, back-to-back homers, and Bobby Cox comes out, and he gets out to the mound, and Smoltz is just pissed. And he looks at Bobby Cox and goes, I don't need you out here. I know what's wrong. And Bobby goes, I didn't come out here to talk to you. I'm just letting them reload the cannon. Such a great line. They say everybody on the mound just breaks up. He completely cut the
reload the
just
cannon.
letting them reload the cannon. Such a good story.
Fourth down.
Michael J. Fox, 64 years old today. Ultimately better career, Michael J. Fox or Michael B. Jordan?
I think I would say Michael J. Fox. Family ties. was a hit TV series. I don't know that it ever reached number one because that was a very competitive genre back then.
I think it did for a minute.
Yeah.
But then Spin City.
Yeah.
So it went away. And then
Back to the Future.
Yeah, Back to the Future was massive. Now, the Creed franchise and Michael B. Jordan, Black
4 years
Panther.
ago when he told this story, which is an amazing story.
Black Panther,
yeah.
Sinners.
You got
first season of The Wire.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think I would go Michael J. Fox. I've watched more of his career. Of course, then you had Teen Wolf, which, I mean, everybody's got duds, right? But that shows you how big Michael J. Fox was.
No, but that's, I've never seen Teen Wolf.
I thought Teen Wolf
but
was
that's
a
like
dud.
No, not at all.
It's a cult classic.
You don't think it was a dud?
I don't think so either. I mean,
was it a dud?
Was that not in the 80s?
No.
It's not the best Michael J. Fox movie.
No, but I think commercially, I think it might have made money.
It was a high school movie. It was a high school movie.
Yeah, but I mean that was the point I was making. It shows you how big Michael J. Fox was. Is you know they were looking for him to be in everything in the '80s on the Back of the Future.
That might be
Just
the
think of how many
signature
times-
'80s movie.
Yeah.
Think of how many times you referenced Teen Wolf in your broadcasting career.
Very little.
Yeah, several times.
Several times.
Yeah,
Okay. Can
Well,
you remind me of one of them?
Reading something on Michael J. Fox, just the cultural impact of Back to the Future. Like I saw Chris Martin from Coldplay said the reason they got a band together was because of the movie Back to the Future.
That's pretty impressive. That is our 4 downs today. The show being brought to you by a couple of great folks. That includes our friends at New Life Art. Freddie Kitchens, we were talking about him earlier. Maybe one of the great bowl wins. I think he had a Citrus Bowl and a Capital One Bowl win in his time there. Go find some great works with Freddie Kitchens in them, or any other great moments like Mark Sears dropping a dime at Auburn. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR to check it all out online and find a great piece of work for Father's Day coming up, DanielMooreArt.com. And Dr. B, the hair looking fantastic, LT, as you move into a deep, deep summer fun trend with that hair flowing.
Okay, there we go. T3hair.net, 205-319-0316. Make sure you tell Dr. B and that great staff the next round sent you. It doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you start thinning out. Be preemptive, maintain, even grow it back. Since I went to see Dr. B and I did the treatment again last night, 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time, non-invasive treatment on the couch. Hair has more than doubled in thickness. T3's got that new test. So easy, painless, affordable. Takes 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims other products online don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing your hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. Beckenstein and the great staff, 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
21-year-old American Coco Gauff wins the French Open over the weekend, her second major. Do you guys remember which NASCAR driver I picked? I told Furman on Friday.
Joey Logano.
I thought it was Denny Hamlin.
It was Denny Hamlin.
Did he win?
Denny Hamlin wins at Michigan. It's the 3rd straight year he has 3 wins. It's the 9th time he's got 3 or more wins in a season. He has the most wins of anybody in NASCAR never to win a season championship. So maybe this is the year for Denny Hamlin. But Denny Hamlin wins there at Michigan. And then last night, in the NBA, Oklahoma City wins to make it a 1-1 series as they go Wednesday night to Game 3 in Indianapolis. SGA did it last night with 34.
Yeah, look, he's been dominant, and Rick Carlisle is trying to figure something out. I don't know if you can slow him down right now. He's playing at such a level of ease right now with so much confidence. But not only that, I mean, everybody is scoring for this Thunder team. You had 5 guys, 15-plus, Alex Caruso, 20 off the bench. I know it's 1-1, and that's all the Pacers needed. Going back to Indianapolis, where they will play their first finals game in 25 years on Wednesday night. But there's a reason the Thunder are a 5.5-point favorite. This is still going to be over in 5.
Okay, here's a couple of things. Tell me if I'm true with these statements. I've read them this morning, and I think I wrote them down right. They have not lost back-to-back meaningful games since November, the Thunder.
They're 18-2 coming off a loss this year.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, they just don't lose back-to-back games.
And I've got them 30-2 against the Eastern Conference this year. Is that possible?
Yeah.
That they only lost 1 time during the regular season against the East.
Okay, so that is including the loss in Game 1.
Yeah.
Boy, that sounds a lot, but maybe.
Yeah, so uphill to have to beat that team in back-to-back games at some point.
I will tell you, Rick Carlisle is a good enough coach, though. He will put these guys in a good position. Game 3 winner in best of 7, when the series is tied 1-1, goes on and wins it 80% of the time. So this is obviously a really, really big game.
I will say Halliburton made a shot. I just looked it up. It was the 412 mark, and it made it 111.94. And I'm like, I'm staying to the end. I mean, the Pacers, they've got me believing they could erase a 111.94 with 4 minutes to go, but that's all they've ever done.
So his girlfriend was talking shit game 2, stands to all the Promise Keepers at Oak City. And I was sitting there thinking, I wonder if they just started dating. And they've been together for like 6 or 7 years.
No,
so she's like, she really is all in.
She credited him, or he credited her, for changing his career.
Yeah. I do love to see those kind of stories.
Yeah.
Like somebody that's with them before the money.
That's right, and they stay.
Yeah.
Bad news for ABC. Game 1 ratings were 8.91 million people. That was down 18% from last year's Game 1.
Not as big of a drop as I thought it would be.
The lowest rated Game 1 in the history of metered markets, and that started in 1988.
Well, here is the concerning thing there. How good was Game 1? It
was really good.
Yeah, I mean, for the first 3.5 quarters, it wasn't great. But, I mean, you can't get any more drama than you got Game 1 at the end.
No doubt. I just wonder how many people turned it off, though. I mean, that would be reflective in the ratings.
Well, you guys tell me,
just gave up on
if this thing gets to 3-1 Oak City, how bad is that Game 5 going to be?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. It'll be really good in Oklahoma City. That'll be the place.
Hockey tonight. Game 3, they're down in Florida. If you're wondering, games 1 and 2 in Edmonton, it is 2,541 miles from Edmonton to Miami, the biggest difference in Stanley Cup history between two sites. So it made the travel day fine. Here's an amazing betting stat for tonight.
And by the way, the NBA Finals, this is one of the closest you've had. I think they're 740 miles apart.
Could do it on a bus. This is an amazing betting stat here. I don't follow hockey, so maybe it's not amazing. But the first game went to overtime. Second game went to double overtime. Game 3 tonight, it's minus 500 that we get another overtime game. Minus 500, just you can bet overtime in hockey that the game goes to OT. It's minus 500.
So they're saying it's a minus 500 favorite to go to overtime?
To go to overtime again.
Oh, I don't believe that.
That does seem a bit high.
I wrote it down. I read it somewhere this morning.
Okay.
Minus 500 to go to overtime.
Well, I don't need to watch the first 3 periods then.
Overtime is so fun.
Yep. Do have a play on that game tonight?
A little ice pick at lanceslock.com, lanceslock.com. As we head to break, Chris Lowe on the other side, tell us about Johnson RV Center, johnsonrvcenter.com.
I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicators where you find them. Jimmy Dunaway, and they've got a price range for just about everybody out there, as low as $127 a month with approved credit, but you can go all the way up to the motorhomes, the fifth wheels, anything in between. They've got it all right there at Johnston RV Center. You want a lifetime warranty? They got that for you, too, on anything new or qualifying pre-owned from RV Warranty Forever. See them in person, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, and always online, johnstonrvcenter.com. Chris Lowe is next.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Tennessee is 22 in our 40 and 40 countdown, voted on by you guys. One of the largest, and not the largest, fan-generated polls in America. We do it every year here leading into SEC Media Days. We're about to talk college football. We discussed a whole bunch of the House settlement to start the show. We may ask Chris Lowe something about that, but it is hard to talk about that.
I'm sure Chris is excited about the prospect of talking House settlement, yes.
So if we can, we'll try to avoid, we'll limit any questions about the House settlement, maybe just none at all to Chris Lowe.
Chris is the nicest guy in the world, though. He would do it if we asked, what is up, Chris Lowe? How are you today, my friend? Uh-oh, we just lost Chris.
Wow, you scared him off.
I did.
I do think the internet, I don't know if we've got like a black cloud over the building right now, but I think we are a little sketchy when it comes to that.
There are internet issues, Tyler. I'm not sure. There's Chris.
No, Chris is back.
Chris coming back.
Yeah. It could have been on our end,
Could have been on our end, Chris. I don't know, but welcome back. Hope you're doing well.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure we got it. Didn't have any, what do they say, technical difficulties that they see on TV?
Yeah, that's right.
I do this all the time, Chris, and it rained every day here this weekend, so I had a lot of downtime. So I found myself, I'll go back on YouTube and go back to, for some reason, I choose the 1970s all the time and watch old college football broadcasts from the 1970s. And I was watching the first ever Hall of Fame game over the weekend. And we used to put up graphics, like a full screen graphic that says, "We apologize, we're having technical difficulties with the broadcast." They kept the audio going of the first ever Hall of Fame game here in Birmingham on Milroe television. But they had a graphic up. They were having camera issues, and you could still hear the game, but you were just looking at a full screen. So we were going to do that with you too, Chris. We were going to put up, sorry, technical difficulties.
Yeah, Mislu, boy, that's something. I haven't heard that name in 40+ years.
Yep, that was back in the day.
Got big people that one.
I'm older than you, Chris. I think. Yes.
Hey, so Chris, random, but we were talking Tennessee football in our 40 and 40 today, and we were talking specifically Josh Heupel. He's won 30 games over his last 3 years. You probably know the story more than we do, the backstory between the bad beef with his alma mater, Oklahoma. But we were talking about if Venables did struggle and had a 5-7, there's a possibility Oklahoma would make a change. Is there any world that you think Josh Heupel would leave Tennessee and go back to Oklahoma?
I don't think so. I think Josh is pretty private guy. He didn't talk a lot about that type thing, but I think there's a clear disconnect between he and his alma mater. Now that said, he's still very close to a lot of the guys he played with there. In fact, several of them were there last year, and some of them on the Tennessee sideline. So he still has a real deep appreciation and connection with a lot of the guys he played with. I don't know that, though, he would go back there to be head coach. I think you never say never, right? You look at some of the things around college sports that have happened. I mean, would you have ever thought Bobby Petrino would be back at Arkansas?
No, not at all.
That's a good point.
So, at one point, Gary Patterson was coaching at Texas and Baylor.
Yep.
So I've just learned to never say never. Based on what I know, I don't think that's very likely at all.
Well, I always think, and we do this, not you specifically, but in the media, we'll always say when a guy's alma mater opens up, we'll always pencil his name in. They are not always Kirby Smart stories. Mike Shula here at Alabama. Some of these, sometimes you don't want to go back and coach at your old school because it can ruin your college years and your memories and your chance to go back, right?
Well, it's got to be. And sometimes when you go back, the regime is so different. The place might be the same, but the people there are different, that it just doesn't work. I mean, Scott Frost is another great example of what you're talking about. It was just a disaster when he went back to Nebraska. I don't know that it was all on Scott, but it's just the fit's not what it was before. I always go back to Steve Spurrier, when he was getting back into it after it didn't work for him in the NFL, and Florida needed a coach, and there was some momentum, as you might expect, for him to go back to Florida. The president there, though, at the time, and I don't know if it was Foley was still. I guess Foley was still there, but said, hey, they wanted him to go through the same process that any coach would, resume, interview, and I think Spurrier was basically saying, hey, my resume's out there in your hallway.
Yeah,
all those SEC trophies and the national championship trophy. So again, the people are typically different. When you go back. Now, he had a huge amount of success when he went the first time, and which we've seen that. Bill Snyder went back to K-State for a second time and had some success. But no, it's not always the natural fit that a lot of people think it's going to be. Kirby was an obvious slam dunk for Georgia at that point, and of course, it couldn't have turned out better for the Dogs. But yes, you're absolutely right, man. You just never say this is a guarantee, a slam dunk.
Chris Lewis with us, ESPN College Football Insider. He's on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. The Shunnarah Hotline is where you find Chris Lowe. From Birmingham, Alabama, looking to Knoxville, after the way he handled the Nico situation, Chris, it seemed like in spite of getting blown out in the playoffs, whatever the case might be, Josh Heupel had to be pretty close to a 100% approval rating by his fan base because he reacted the way I think every fan wanted to react to that. A, do you believe that to be the case? I mean, was he close to 100% as you could probably get as a college football coach? But B, how long does that goodwill normally last in a place like Knoxville, Tennessee?
Well, I mean, it lasts until they can't throw the football in the second half, and they're 0 for 7 on third down, and the pass game just stinks. And then it's like, well, they should have worked harder to patch things up with Nico and Maliava. You guys know how it works in the SEC. But no, I think at the time, Josh did what he had to do. He didn't have much of a decision, really. I mean, it would have been much different had the kid gone to practice that Friday, gone to the spring game the next day, and then sat out on Sunday with the collective and whomever and said, hey, let's work this out. If we can't work it out, I'm leaving. Maybe Tennessee meets him halfway, maybe they don't. But when you ghost everybody in the program, your teammates, your coach trying to get in touch with you that whole day, Heupel didn't answer his calls, there's no choice. I mean, you bring him back into the locker room as your quarterback, you give him another $500,000 or whatever, $1 million, and you bring him back in your locker room, you lose your whole locker room. So I don't think Josh had any choice. He did what I think every coach would have done, but memories are short in the SEC. And if they don't play well at the quarterback position and struggle on offense, there'll be some people saying, well, Tennessee, Josh Heupel should have been a little bit more forward thinking. They shouldn't have let it get to that point. I don't know that I would not be saying that. I think, again, in this era, you gotta protect your locker room. You really do. And even if you've got a quarterback you think is talented, and he is very talented, he didn't have a great year last year. He was okay, but I think he will be or would have been a lot better this year in his second year as a starter. And I think he'll be pretty good at UCLA. I don't know that they have the talent around Nico to just where he's going to be lights out, but it's always going to be wait and see in the league. And at that position, more than any other, if you don't play pretty well at the quarterback position, certainly if you are throwing the football to the other team, then you're going to have issues. And I think that's where we just don't know yet. Joey Aguilar has put up good numbers, but he has thrown the ball to the other team a lot during his career. Merklinger hasn't thrown any passes that were meaningful in any games. And the other kid, McIntyre, is a true freshman. So we'll find out. And I think it's, again, they're going to put a lot of pressure on their defense, just like they did last year, probably even more so, if they're going to be a playoff team.
Okay, give me a surprise potential playoff team out of the SEC.
I'm gonna cop out on you guys. I can't give you one. I would go. LSU to me is not really a surprise. I think they're going to be really good.
Okay, if I did second tier SEC, so let's go Auburn, let's go Oklahoma.
Yeah, I was going to say Auburn would be I think Auburn will be much improved. I don't know that they can get to 10 wins or even maybe. I don't know that 9 gets you in a 12. When we go to 16, 9 will definitely get you in. But I don't know that 9 gets you in a 12-team format. And I do think Auburn could get to 9. I don't see them getting to 10, but I do think they'll be one of the more improved teams in the conference. South Carolina is another one. They were right there on the cusp last year. And they have a chance, I think, to be really good with Sellers because, again, he's that guy at the position that means the most. You just can't get that guy on the ground. I think he will be a more polished passer in his second year as a starter. So to me, South Carolina has a lot of really good young talent, not just Sellers and not just the pass rusher Stewart, but up front in the offensive line. They're another team. And I think a lot of people have written Ole Miss off because they lost some really good players on defense. They lost their quarterback. But I bet you they'll be pretty good again this year too. So I think the league will be a lot like it was last year. It sort of cannibalized itself a little bit. And you saw that more so than ever before. I don't know if you guys agree, but I thought the league had gotten top heavy from basically 15 until last year. It was the same teams. It was Georgia, Alabama, Georgia. LSU had that great year in 19. But you didn't really have that second-tier teams that you felt like would or could win on any Saturday. Last year, you saw it all over the league. Oklahoma beats Alabama. They knock Alabama out. Kentucky beats Ole Miss. That loss essentially knocks Ole Miss out. Tennessee loses to Arkansas. Now, Tennessee still got in, but Arkansas beat him. But over and over again, you saw some of those type games, and I think the league was much more bunched up from, say, 1 to 9 or 10. Vandy beats Alabama for the first time since the Reagan administration. I'm joking, obviously, but
I don't think you're wrong.
I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, you weren't wrong about that.
I think you're right. I think it was the Reagan administration. Yeah.
So, but there were those types of games last year that we haven't seen as much of in the SEC. And the knock on SEC, fair or unfair, was it was top heavy. You had a couple of teams carrying the banner for everybody else in the league, and I thought last year it wasn't. Is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? I just thought it was more balanced, and I think this year you'll see more of the same.
Yeah. With that in mind, coming out of the meetings in Destin, if and you know this, you talk to the coaches all the time. What is the football coaches, what is their desire for the future college football playoffs? Do they want the 5-11? Do they want a computer coming up with the rankings? What is their desire, Chris?
Number one, I don't think they all trust the committee to really delve into what the grind is like in the SEC. I don't think they feel like, again, fair or unfair, that there's enough benefit given to teams in the SEC that have to play an SEC schedule. I do think they'd like to see maybe everything not be quite as subjective. I mean, I find it funny. I know Roy Kramer does too, that here we are in 2025 and everybody's cursing the committee when they were cursing the metrics and the polls and the formulas of the BCS back during the day. And I'm starting to hear some, hey, maybe we go back to more of a BCS type formula to pick the teams. I don't know that we'll ever get to fully just a formula. And of course, those included some human polls. But no, I don't think they really fully trust the committee. The other thing, I don't think they're on board with a ninth conference game unless there's some assurances. You know, I was talking to Kirby and a couple of other coaches after the meetings, and they said, hey, non-conference games means what, 8 more losses in the league? If you're going to be judged on how many you lose, and if you're an SEC coach, do you want to go to a ninth conference game? The third thing is, yes, I think if it is a 4-4-2-2-2 or 5 automatic qualifiers, the 5 being the conference champions, and 11 at-large, the coaches I've talked with, and I haven't talked to every coach, but more than half would favor that format, 11 at-large bids. Because if you look at it last year, I think I went back and looked, Ole Miss would have also gotten in, South Carolina would have gotten in, and Alabama would have gotten in last year. So you'd have had, 6 SEC teams. And if it's just 4 automatics, then maybe you're potentially costing yourself some spots. I think the big thing, most of the angst right now among coaches, let's be honest here, coaches don't make the decisions. The president's the one, when you get back to in the realm of how many conference games you're going to play. Well, if you play a 9th conference game, what's that mean? That means more money. And Big Ten has passed the SEC a little bit in payout. So are the presidents going to turn down more money? I don't know. But I think most of the angst among coaches is give us a clearer picture, more clarity of what the format, what the method is going to be going forward in 26 when I'm almost positive it will be 16 teams, what the format's going to be to pick the 16 teams. Is it going to be purely a committee again? Is there going to be a mix? They want a clearer picture of what that's going to look like.
I bet it was the Reagan administration the last time they turned down more money, too.
Yeah. We all know the answer to that.
Yeah, that's right.
100%.
Hey, before you go, we joked about it on the show. When you just say the phrase house settlement, it sounds like the most boring topic in the world, but it is transformational for college sports. We get all of that. There are 16 SEC schools. Have you talked to an athletics director in the SEC that says we are not ready for this? This could damage our program. Is there a fear of that among some ADs?
No, I haven't talked to anybody that said it, but it's like a coach coming out of spring practice. Have you ever heard a coach come out of spring practice and say, we're just not ready? We're in trouble.
We're going to suck, yeah.
We're going to stink. Remember Spurrier a few years ago did a parody on that?
Yeah.
He said, our receivers can't catch the ball. Defensive backs on the ground the whole day. And he starts, have you ever heard a coach say that? Same way with ADs. They're not going to say that. No AD ever gets turned down in the coach search, right?
Yeah.
Ever. But they're not going to say it. I think they're hopeful, as Charlie Baker said, that it at least is a pathway to some semblance of stability in college sports. But it's a start. I tell my dad's asked me about it, folks in my neighborhood, if I go to the Weigels to get gas. And my response to them is the same thing I'll tell you guys. It's a start. It is hardly the end. It is a start. And does it give the sport a chance to get out of some of this chaos? I think it does. But boy, I think the thing that all coaches and all administrators I've talked to have asked, maybe behind the scenes, is over and above the $20.5 million that's going to go straight from schools to athletes, what's NIL going to look like now that we have the College Sports Commission? What's enforcement going to look like now that they're enforcing it? And here's the big question. You guys are all smarter than me. What is the definition of fair market value?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Whatever you can get.
So I brought this up at the start of the show. What was Cam Newton's fair market value coming out of Blinn Community College? But it was low coming out of Blinn, but you let him play a season at Auburn, and, I mean, he'd be a $10 million quarterback easy today.
What was Tim Tebow's fair market value in Florida?
Yeah.
What would Mike Shula have paid if he could have paid to get him to Tuscaloosa to save his job?
Coming out of Nice High School, I mean, he could have gotten a ton of money, and it was
Joe
worth every
Burrow
dime.
transfers from Ohio State. He can't get on the field at Ohio State, and he absolutely lights out that year at LSU. What would his? I mean, So again, I don't know. I can't answer that. I know there's a formula. Deloitte, the clearinghouse, they're going to do it. The College Sports Commission is over enforcement. That's the other thing I would remind fans is really the NCAA's role now when it comes to enforcing rules. About the only thing they're going to enforce if there's some type of egregious fraud, academic fraud. But as far as benefits and money and NIL payments, that's now the College Sports Commission's wheelhouse. They're going to be over that. And you guys know as well as I do, when you're keeping score and the money that's available now, there are always going to be people looking for end arounds.
Yep.
How do we get around this? How can we pay some guy to come to the largest dealership in Knoxville or Birmingham or wherever, and how can we pay him $500,000 an appearance to take pictures? And is that fair market value? I don't know. But there are going to be people looking for ways to do that. And I don't think we're going to see – most schools will pay, $15 million for football, $15 million of the 20.5. I still think we're going to see rosters 35, 30, maybe approaching 40 million. They'll figure out ways to supplement the 20.5.
You know Tom Mars, so next time you see him, tell him I've already written his opening statement. The first case he gets against Deloitte is, how much are we paying Deloitte? Now, how is that the fair market value? How did you come up with that figure?
Right. Yeah.
And case closed. We rest our case.
Yes. Well, hey, why were we not smart enough, all four of us? Why were we not smart enough to be attorneys, to be lawyers?
I know.
They're lining up right now, guys.
Yep.
They are lining up to challenge what still is sort of an imaginary cap with the 20.5, 15, whatever it is for football. There are going to be a lot of lawsuits, Title IX lawsuits, and just the kind of lawsuits you guys are talking about right now.
To my defense, I went to Jacksonville State. There was no law school at Jacksonville State, so I
wasn't smart enough. I could have never passed
there was that too. Yeah.
By the way, Mars Law Firm, office in Northwest Arkansas, office in Atlanta, Georgia. They cover all the SEC.
It's got the whole footprint.
All the SEC right there.
He is Chris Lowe at CeeLo ESPN. Chris, it is always a pleasure to talk with you. We thank you very much for the time.
Yeah, same here, guys. Always good to catch up.
All right, buddy. Have a good week. We'll see you soon. We'll see you in Atlanta, SEC Media Days.
And the ATL
coming up. See you guys there.
Yep. Chris with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline.
And a great guy to follow on social media and to read his stuff at ESPN.com, always on top of that. Our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken bring you this final hour of the show. We're about to talk about accusations flying over the weekend. Champy's Chicken always has the great fried chicken that flies around down there. Fried after it's brined overnight. It's cooked to order, so it's never under a heat lamp. The Mississippi Delta recipe tamales are so good. Hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys. The chicken sandwich is to die for there. They make the desserts on property there, and it's perfect with tailgating just 75 days away. To keep in mind, high school football way before that. I'm looking forward to the high school football season coming up. How about just a pan of those chicken fingers, take them to the high school football game and enjoy that as you get ready to walk in to watch your favorite high school team. Get that at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. And also our friends at Company Distilling. They bring you part of the show today, LT, after another raise the glass kind of weekend with friends.
Oh, yeah. I had some of the delicious rye over the weekend. Big news, Alabama Company Distilling is now available at ABC stores across the state. If you've been waiting to try whiskey that is good as the company you keep, this is your moment. Find your bottle. Learn more at companydistilling.com/Alabama. Must be 21 or older. Please enjoy responsibly. And remember, not only in Alabama, states like Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, whether you're picking up a bottle for a weekend gathering or just exploring something new, Company Distilling is worth the pour. If you can't find it on the shelf, just ask your local store to order it in. Spirits this good deserve to be shared. For more information, companydistilling.com/Alabama.
All right, so the Manning Passing Academy, some notable quarterbacks going. They put out that list this weekend on 3 Sports. Came up with this graphic, by the way. Manning Passing Academy, 2025 notable attendees. Arch Manning, John Mateer, Aller, Altmaier, Avery Johnson, Cade Klubnik, Sam Levitt, Nussmeier, Sellers, Austin Simpson, Stockton. Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson is invited there. Notable attendees. Ty Simpson is there. That bothered some people. First of all, it bothered SMU head coach Rhett Lashley. That graphic bothered a head coach. Rhett Lashley tweets, I'd say a quarterback who took his team to the college football playoffs last year probably qualifies as notable. That's right. SMU's quarterback Kevin Jennings is going to the Manning Passing Academy, but On3 does not put him on that list.
Not notable.
That leads to this from Billy Embody, who covers SMU and Ole Miss for On3 Sports. Alabama tried to recruit Kevin Jennings into the transfer portal to take over for Milroe, but sure, Ty Simpson deserves a notable mention over Kevin Jennings. What do you make of that, guys? That was a very Jeff Spiegel's own question.
How true is that? I mean, it is interesting because Ty Simpson, there's no significant playing time. The same with Austin Simmons.
Can I speak for Alabama fans? I'll jump up really quick. I don't want Kevin Jennings in Tuscaloosa. That guy didn't impress me enough to be the starting quarterback in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Case closed.
You weren't impressed by Kevin Jennings?
No, that guy, his arm was a deficit.
When they went from Preston Stone to Kevin Jennings when they started winning.
Yeah, I mean, they almost lost the Nevada game starting Preston Stone.
Yeah.
You remember that, right? That was week 0, was it not?
Yeah.
Late night week 0?
Arm, a deficit for me. I don't like the way he throws the football.
Okay. I mean, guy completed 65% of his passes.
I mean, the fact of the matter, if Kevin Jennings did transfer out and was starting for Tennessee this year instead of Joey Aguilar and was invited to the Manning passing camp, he would have been on that list. It's all about the affiliation. It's not necessarily the quarterback.
What'd you make of it?
I mean, some of this is probably going to be semantics. Like, did Alabama recruit him out of the portal, or did they try to recruit him into the portal, I guess I should say?
Remember Nick Saban kept saying last year on game day, didn't he say we try to get some DB in the MAC?
Yeah.
We kept trying to encourage him to get into the portal.
Right. Yeah. I know this goes on. This goes on everywhere. Yeah. I mean, every coach in America tries to convince a kid to get in the portal.
We could never convince him to get into the portal.
No. Don't mistake what I'm saying for this doesn't happen. I 100% know this happens. I guess I'm just, how did it all go? If it went down, and I don't know this reporter. You told me this guy covers SMU and Ole Miss?
Yeah, for On3 Sports.
For On3 Sports, which is
a very busy timeline on Twitter. I mean, there are recruits coming and going.
Does he live in Shreveport like he goes to Dallas some and he goes to Oxford some?
I don't know if I've ever seen anybody at On3 or Rivals that cover 2 different schools.
Yeah, well, most of the time you would think like it would be I cover SMU and TCU. Okay, well, they're Dallas and Fort Worth. This is SMU and Ole Miss. They're a long way apart, though they have a lot in common. I mean, if it did indeed happen, and I don't have any reason to doubt this guy's reporting, or don't have any reason to say this guy's a
I'm not doubting
reporter. I have no idea about this guy. I've never heard of it.
I'm saying that Alabama fan base would have been disappointed, I believe, in Kevin Jennings at quarterback.
I don't know.
I think they were disappointed in Jalen Milroe.
You don't think there would be a little bit of excitement like, hey, he took SMU to I'm not saying he's going to start, but boy, this is a good guy to have just in case.
I think it would be the exact same excitement you got for Ty Simpson. You think it would be less for a guy that took his team to a college football playoff?
I think what they saw in him, I really do. I think Alabama fans believe Ty Simpson and eventually Russell will be better than Jennings.
Well, then they would start in front of him. I know we're programmed to think because you go get a quarterback in the portal, he is going to come in and start.
That's
and
right.
You're programmed to think that because it happens most of the time. But it does not happen 100% of the time.
Not 100, but majority.
But most of the time, if you go get a quarterback out of the portal, you want him to start.
Just interesting to see one graphic from On3 Sports get so many people upset.
He had 2 bad games. I'm a little surprised in your evaluation of Jennings here, but he had 2 bad games. He had the bad game at Duke where they really should have lost the game, and it would have knocked him out of the college football playoffs ultimately. They should have lost the game. How many turnovers? 6 total, I think, in that game last. Do you remember against Duke?
Counting the fumbles.
Counting the fumbles. Now, he threw 3, but I think counting the fumbles, they had 6 total turnovers in that game. And then he was awful against Penn State. There's no way to sugarcoat that one. I thought the guy was a really good quarterback last year, though. I liked him.
How did he do against Clemson in that ACC championship?
He was 31 of 50, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick.
Yeah, and rushed for one.
Rushed for another touchdown. I don't know what you
I
wanted
think he's
out
a
of
good,
him.
solid quarterback. I mean, he's more proven than Ty Simpson.
Yeah, against Clemson, 10 carries, 35 yards, and a touchdown. So he had.
I'm not saying he's better. I would think Ty Simpson. Well, if Ty Simpson doesn't put up better numbers this year, that's a problem for
So let me
Alabama.
play it this way for you. If you believe that to be true, does that make you concerned about the quarterback room if they were trying to get Kevin Jennings into the portal?
I don't think you can ever have too many experienced quarterbacks. In this world of the portal where you can go get a guy that is a starter. Now, if I thought this was a panic move by DeBoer, if indeed it happened, if it was a panic move by DeBoer, it scares me. But I don't think not that DeBoer is going to come out and say his quarterback's terrible, but I haven't even heard behind the scenes he feels that way. Like, he's certainly not saying that way publicly, but there is nothing. You guys can correct me if you've heard anything. I have not heard anything come back and say DeBoer is panicked at quarterback. Does he think Ty Simpson's going to be Michael Penix or any other great quarterback he's had? I don't know that I've heard that either. But I do think they're confident in Ty Simpson.
Michelson will give us a look. I finally saw some renderings to Bartow Arena. Tell us about Michelson as we look at some Bartow Arena makeovers going on down there.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. Dr. Mort Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. I got the procedure done in 2003. I had the 2200 vision. After the procedure, 2015 vision, better than 2020. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy Toe. The next round sent you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Nearly a $15 million renovation to Bartow Arena here in the Birmingham market where UAB plays their home basketball games. I think it was built in somewhere around 1988 maybe. Here's the way the renovations will look. A different, better entrance into Bartow Arena, better concourse, but you see the big part will be the sort of skyboxes, booster lounge and seating area there just above midcourt will allow you to eat, drink, and still see the court, enjoy the festivities of a game day down on the UAB campus. Looks really good. Just under a $15 million renovation approved for what's going to go on down at Bartow Arena. Nice look there for Andy Kennedy in that UAB program. When we come back, it is U.S. Open week at Oakmont.
I've got my third. I gave you all 2. I've got my third.
Brown will update us on his third golfer. He's got 2 he's taking, and now he's got a third. One guy is having a hard time getting motivated. We'll talk about that coming up on the other side. And we've got trash for you. All that straight ahead. Don't forget the Braves back in action. 7-game losing streak at Milwaukee tonight, 6:40 for you Braves fans. The Pennant Grace returns tomorrow at 12:15 Central Time. And don't forget the Meltdown live today at 2 o'clock with Tyler and the gang over there. Back in a moment. The show being brought to you by our friends at Budweiser, Bud Light, and Adams Beverage. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on the Next Round. I'll tell you about Champy's first before I say what I'm about to say. Champy's world famous fried chicken, great food for lunch, open now for about 36 minutes. Go see Sterling. When's the last time you guys saw Sterling? I need to go see him again.
It's been a couple months, unfortunately.
Got to go see him down there on Highway 119. Listen, you don't go there every day if you live, in Huntsville, or if you live in Nashville or Chattanooga when you watch us. But when you're driving through on your way to the beach this time of year or on your way back from the beach, just plan an Alabaster exit, getting off and having lunch or dinner, and go to Champy's Chicken right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. A steady flow through there of all the reliable clients that are there every day, over a decade there at that one location off of Highway 119 in Alabaster. But he loves to see the Next Round listeners and viewers who roll in there, making it a destination location for lunch and dinner. The great food and the great atmosphere. It's with that man, Sterling. There goes that man again, Sterling, and champy'schicken.com. I'm just going to say that we have one bathroom up here in our office that that right now, I grew up, we did not have indoor plumbing.
That's right.
I had to go to an outhouse, and there is a whole. In fact, I don't know if there's a generation alive that is watching us that even knows what going to an outhouse was like.
They've seen some old westerns.
Yeah, but you never smelled it. When you go to an outhouse, basically it's going to the bathroom in a hole is all it is.
Oh.
And the hole doesn't go away. I mean, it's just sitting down in there. There is a smell.
Do you burn it? Do you bury it?
What do you do? Burying it with.
You cover it up and you move the outhouse to a different
flies
location.
Around?
Oh, God, everything. Snakes, everything around it.
Oh, God.
The outhouse was a disgusting invention. But I guess it's the way you had to do it until you had indoor plumbing.
An invention of necessity.
Whenever the
yes.
Romans came along. But we didn't have, the Roman Empire, mud puddle. Took a while. The smell of the outhouse was a different level.
Uh-huh.
And I grew up with that. I know what it smells like. There's one bathroom up here right now I walked into. I couldn't get 2 steps into it. Now, I've changed. I'm soft now compared to Mud Puddle Jim.
That's right.
But
Outhouse is worn off.
I walked into that bathroom and had to turn around. I couldn't take 2 steps into it. That was a smell unlike one it was like a decomposing body up there.
And
there's someone on this floor. They don't work in this office, but on this floor they have a morning routine where they go in like probably 8:30 and that bathroom is just unusable.
Yeah, but
that's sad.
It's not like they've destroyed the pipes, right? Like there's something rotten in there.
Tyler is not eliminated
for a couple of weeks now, and then the same situation like 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's like in the drainage pipe or something. It's like
they got to figure that out.
It's like a septic tank situation. I grew up with a septic tank one time too. That can be aggressive.
Oh man,
aggressive at times. Anyway, it was a smell.
I've always said I think men's room. I can't speak for the ladies' rooms. I never use them, but I use them in an emergency, like if the men's room's all locked up.
On the golf course, I choose them.
Well, if it's a one-holer, like that. Again,
I'm already hitting from the short tees anyway. I might as well go to that bathroom.
Right. If it's a one-holer, if I know it's a single-holer, I'll use the women's room if there's an issue, right?
Yeah, but we got. We're
gas station with a locked bathroom.
Yeah. And if I know it's a one-holer,
we're trying to keep up pace of play, and
that's right.
If 2 people have to go to the bathroom at the same time, and
there's not a woman in there.
There's a one-hole man, one-hole woman. There's no woman in there. You knock on the door.
Yeah. No,
the
I
door's
do
already
that.
open.
I do that all the time on the golf
women's
course.
bathroom.
Yeah, I do that all the time on the golf course.
I raise the lid and I put the lid back down.
I'm respectful. I don't pee on their lid.
Yeah, me too.
But in men's rooms, I think if I were designing a building, I think there needs to be
a number 1 and a number 2.
A number 1 room and a number 2 room.
I agree with
And
you.
there's a wall and a door between them. You go through a door to get to the number 2 room.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to design a men's room.
No, I think we should have 3 bathrooms.
Okay.
And not the way California does it. It should be 3 bathrooms the way we do it in the South.
That blew me away the last time I was
It
out
should be women's bathroom, men's 1, men's 2.
Yeah, and the shitter.
Yeah. Yeah. The men's 1 is just your only option is to stand up.
It's just a row of urinals, or like how they have at the stadiums where it's like the trough.
I'm not a trough fan.
Not a trough guy.
Speaking of that smell,
that is a stream too far.
Yeah, so it was the booth back in the day, not the new booth in Tuscaloosa, but the booth on the corner, the trough. Everybody would remember that smell that's ever been in there before.
Other than the smell, you know what I hate most about the trough, Tyler? There's not enough forced space in there. Like a guy can get a little too close to me.
Oh, yeah.
In the trough. With a urinal, there's a forced gap.
I think this shows
a boundary line.
Yeah. There's no boundary line with a trough.
God gave me the forced
I'm going to
space.
say that
I know
that we've got good.
Oh, you know?
We'll call it good couth.
Yeah.
But I think more so maybe just because we're soft. I mean, there are dudes that don't mind like shitting with without a stall.
I know.
Just old school prison will just sit in front of you and go.
Yeah.
We had some high school baseball, which I assume were their football locker rooms too, in the Shelby County metro area here in Birmingham, that the visitors' locker room had no stalls. It'd just be 2 sit-downs, and if you had to go before a game, you'd be sitting there just looking at.
Hey, guys. Well, how about there was a golf course that I played once, and I had to take a shower. It's a country club. I had to take a shower afterwards, and I wasn't prepared for the fact that the showers did not have any sort of closure on them. There's no curtain or anything.
Yeah.
So I've just, I've got all my shower gear, and I'm walking around the corner, and I come around the corner, and there's just dude taking a shower right there, and I did not know that it wasn't going to have a curtain.
That's the way it was for the Pikes down at Montevallo. We had,
but these are individual stalls. They just didn't have a curtain.
We didn't have individual stalls. We had one big room and 6 shower heads.
But I would have assumed that. But I knew these were individual stalls. I didn't know there was no sort of closure.
Tony, Mike, Rusty, how are you guys this morning?
Excited about that chip in, I see.
No hot water over there for you, Rusty?
I bet Dunaway was the awkward guy that had comments when you were showering.
Oh, you have to talk. It's awkward if you don't talk. Our friends at Brakeline Optics getting you ready for a great trip down to the lake this week.
Hey, it's Father's Day coming up this weekend. If you're local and you want to see these, Deep South Outfitters has them. This is a local company, Brakeline Optics is. But you can always go on their website and see everything they offer in the sunglass game. BrakelineOptics.com. That is BrakelineOptics.com. While you were there,
wearing the roadies this weekend on the lake. Jack had a pair of Brakelines on.
There you go.
Fantastic local product.
I got to give me a pair.
Yeah. Oh, we got some for you in there.
Do you?
Yeah.
You want me to run and get the box?
Yeah, and you can pick.
Oh, I'd love to. We'll do it live on the air.
Yeah, we're live on the air. Jim is going to pick his Brakeline Optics. TNR 20 for 20% off on Father's Day. It is a great Father's Day gift idea. Celebrate the legend in your life, dear old dad, with a great pair of Brakeline Optics. They are sunglasses worthy of a man who knows about every adventure, be it on the lake, on the green, on the river. BrakelineOptics.com. TNR 20 for 20% off. BrakelineOptics.com. Jim is about to choose live on the air.
Wow.
Now, we've already kind of handpicked a lot, so there's not going to be a lot in there.
I can promise you are going to like the ones we pick better than the ones you pick. That's just who you are. All right, here are the Brakeline Optics breaking news glasses. When we have breaking news.
Do we have breaking news?
We don't. We have not had them since we got these. But this is how I'm going to tell everybody we got breaking news. I like those, Jim. Those are good on you.
Smoky Mountain Range.
Is that Ronnie Millsap? That's what you need right there. Little flare.
I'm
thinking about this for Maggie.
Oh, yeah. No, Dunaway, I like those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do.
No, I think that's actually a good look.
I know. And Jim thinks we're trying to set him up on this. I like those, Jim.
Okay, I'll take them. I'll trust you.
Okay. Lance, you haven't said anything.
Oh, I think they look great. Yeah. I think all Brakeline looks great.
BrakelineOptics.com.
Don't let your son.
TNR 20. TNR 20 for that 20% Father's Day discount. TNR 20. BrakelineOptics.com.
I was representing Brakeline on the golf course on Friday afternoon.
Did you wear the hat?
I did not have a hat, and I saw a bunch of them in the Sprite Green Room, and on the way out, I jumped in there and grabbed a hat. Sun was setting, and that Brakeline hat was
look at
popping
that,
right there.
Jim.
Huh?
Those are good-looking hats, by the way. You get those on their website, too, BrakelineOptics.com.
Yep. All right.
Great Father's Day.
It is. Great Father's Day.
Let's do trash.
I like those, Jim.
After the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But
well timed.
He's gay. He's gay. Excuse me. He's blind.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Father's Day weekend. At least get the old man Bud Light. Don't make him get up. Run to the fridge, run
That's
back.
That's right. Do it for Dad.
Yeah, lake, beach, pool, doesn't matter. Pick up some delicious Bud Light. Okay, so update on your very average girl, Sydney Sweeney.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow.
Bars of soap made from the bathwater of Hollywood actor Sydney Sweeney went on sale this Friday. They've already sold out, now available on eBay for inflated prices. They sold out within seconds.
Inflated prices on eBay.
Limited, though. I'm limited.
$191.
Oh, it gets worse, Brown.
Prices have gone down.
Okay.
Yeah, the Euphoria actor faces unsolicited comments about her body from fans, some of whom have even expressed their desire to consume her bathwater.
Yeah.
Now, we went through that story.
Very 1980s saying. That was a popular saying.
It was.
She's so hot I'd drink her bathwater.
Yep. Nobody ever really meant that.
No, well, I mean, probably
never really
some
understood
did.
it.
No.
Anyway, these were $8 when the items went on sale on Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. According to NBC New York, some prospective buyers were told that they would have to wait 250 minutes to make their purchase, while others claimed the website had crashed. Responding to one complaint on social media, which claimed the bars were never on sale, the company wrote, quote, "Nah, it was there. People just bought it within .0001 seconds." Now, Dr. Squatch, the brand behind this, later confirmed on Instagram their website did indeed crash. In a statement, the company said, quote, "Y'all crashed the site. Sydney's Bathwater Bliss launch has been insane. We seriously appreciate the Squatch size enthusiasm." Listings for the products on eBay went up to $2,000.
So is that leather like authenticity right there that it's been signed off on that's absolutely her bathwater?
I mean, we don't really believe.
A limited run, and each one has a certificate.
Yeah, nobody really believes
in
this is
an
their bathwater.
interview with GQ, Sweeney further explained the process of making the soap. She said, when we were at the Dr. Squatch shoot, they had a tub for me. I actually got in there, took some soap. We had a nice little bath, and they took the water. So it is my real bath water. She said, I wanted it to lean towards my home roots, so there's this really outdoorsy scent, pine, earthy moss, and fir, so it smells super manly. But there's also some city bath water mixed in.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Unrelated story. I mean, we at Asbury, we baptize in water from the Jordan River. So,
I beg your pardon?
Yeah.
How do y'all get water from the Jordan River to 119?
It was brought in.
How much?
Enough to baptize. You know,
y'all don't do immersion.
So do a
yeah,
lot
y'all
of,
do the spring.
Do a lot of people do that? Go bottle the water, bring it in for the.
I don't know.
So does everybody that gets sprinkled with Jordan River water?
Since we started doing that, yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
How long y'all been doing that?
I don't know.
Well, if you run out, somebody's got to go over there and get it. Is Maggie like, okay, twist my arm, I'll go get some water from the
I don't know all the details, but I think it's a continual shipment.
You know, when I didn't realize you guys didn't immerse baptize, that was a much bigger deal that y'all were using Jordan River water. I was like, that's a lot of water y'all had to get.
And you have to, at that point, it takes a lot to get over here. But, you know, we pour a pitcher in for the baptism and probably reuse that
What's it
pitcher.
look like? Is it good and clear?
Yeah.
Did y'all purify it?
Yeah.
Oh, so y'all
No, we didn't purify it, but it's clear, absolutely.
So Jordan River water is clear, because I would imagine, having grown up near the Coosa, if you baptized to Coosa River water,
a lot of parasites.
There's going to be some stuff floating in that.
Yeah.
It's going to be good and clear.
But after a while, I'm sure it settles, right?
Probably so, yeah.
A man was arrested after police said he locked employees inside of Pappy Steak Restaurant in Miami Beach while demanding $6 million, claiming he was owed money for appearing in a Netflix documentary featuring Gordon Ramsay. Now, according to the report, 59-year-old Joaquin Nunez right here used a U-lock to trap workers inside of the business on May 18th. Nunez, who claimed he previously worked at the restaurant, stated, quote, "My demands for damages is $6 million. Now, the report states the restaurant had to hire a locksmith to remove the lock. Nunez was arrested Sunday for attempted extortion, criminal mischief, and possession of Adderall.
Wow.
So this is a picture of their signature tomahawk steak at Poppy Steak, Miami. It's $1,000 and comes in a briefcase, just to give you guys an idea of the kind of restaurant that this guy is doing this in.
Yeah,
We're high end.
Can you imagine the dildo that orders that for his girl?
I know.
Just pulled up in his Bugatti with his chain that weighs more than...
Did this end up with him saying, I will unlock it if you guys give me a free meal, tomahawk steak?
I did not say that. I didn't at least say it in the story I read.
Yeah, had to get the locksmith.
Hey, the next thing we got, Tyler, do you actually have video on this?
By the way, tomahawk steak, classic
I
upscale.
do not have video on this.
It's probably
because
good.
It would get us in trouble.
Oh,
okay. 26-year-old man from Florida was arrested Thursday after he admitted to stabbing a bull shark multiple times. An act he filmed and shared on Snapchat. Now, the video, which gained notoriety late last month, shows the gruesome attack near a wreck site off of Key West. Now, Zane Garrett, who has been identified as the captain on the Second Nature Charter's website, faces charges of aggravated animal cruelty. Now, look, I am fascinated with the sharks. I don't think this is something that needed to be done here. An anonymous tipster alerted the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission after witnessing the disturbing footage, citing concerns for public safety. This led to an investigation into Garrett's actions. Interestingly, Garrett had previously been under scrutiny for falsely representing himself as a licensed captain, requirement he does not meet.
I'm the captain now.
Directed to him after interviewing the individual who posted the video online. Now, basically had a 9 to 11 inch fillet knife, started stabbing the shark repeatedly. He said that he justified his behavior by claiming it was common practice to deter sharks from stealing fish.
But if he caught the shark and reeled it into the boat, would it have been a violation?
If he killed it then?
Or no, if he just caught it and reeled it in. Like, the shark is not protected. Like, could he have kept the shark legally if he had caught it?
Is it on his hook right now? Why is the shark staying so close to the boat?
Yeah, I think it's on his hook.
Okay.
Yeah.
So technically he is caught.
Okay.
He's on the hook.
Yeah.
And now we're stabbing him.
So they're going to do that when he gets it in the boat,
He's
right?
going to die of suffocation.
He's going to die of suffocation. Then
Yeah.
they're going to cut him open and do something with him.
Well, he apparently does this a lot. He admitted to having done, quote, a lot more killing of sharks using firearms.
That's a
Mentioned
different
that
game.
He stabbed or killed sharks without bringing them aboard his boat on numerous occasions.
I don't think that is...
I'm having a hard time on the jury convicting this guy.
Yeah, me
though.
too. I mean,
I'm of the you take one of mine, I'll take two of yours mentality.
I'm not sure I applaud what he did, but did he really break a law?
I'll tell you an updated story. I'm not going to mind if he gets eaten by a shark.
Really? Okay.
Nope.
I think the videoing it is what makes it more disturbing. It's like you're almost celebrating it or like.
But to Brown's point,
keeping it as a
every day we're pulling it up onto the deck.
That's right.
And it's going to flop around in the heat without the ability to breathe and suffocate and die.
That's right.
I agree with
and
that.
then we're going to take him knife.
We're gonna fillet him,
Cut him right open.
The Louisiana license plate's going to fall out.
That's right.
Yeah, but that's almost like the
other
circle of
stuff.
life. Like, this is like over the top, egregious.
He's not on the dock posing.
I'm well aware.
His catch in this. Picture.
No. I'm well aware of what he's doing. I'm just saying it doesn't take long to cross back over the line of what he's doing is just what we'd have done in the boat.
Well, I will tell you that if we went to the early parts of how we get steaks and videotape that every day,
That's just one kill shot.
Yeah, a lot of people would be like, that's probably not the right way to do it either.
Again, I'm not applauding what he did, but I'm with Dunaway. If I'm on the jury, I'm like, I don't know if this guy needs to do jail time for this.
I don't appreciate the snake. The shark, I do have appreciation for.
Yeah, but that's a matter of taste.
Yeah, maybe.
You like, maybe. Not everybody likes sharks. Some people like snakes. They keep them as pets. And I lop a snake's head off.
Wouldn't you say that there is more of an overall appeal for a shark than a snake?
Not particularly. I think they're both. I don't know what the appeal for the shark is.
Have you had a shark? Have you eaten it?
I have eaten shark, yes. I've never eaten snake.
Most likely.
I haven't had snake.
Not even knowing you ate shark sometimes.
You know what I like is swordfish. That's very good.
Swordfish is
Yeah, if you've ever had swordfish.
You know, we were
probably.
at it's got seafood in the name, a local place last Wednesday, and she was trying to sell the special, which was swordfish.
Did you not get it? It's good.
I didn't get it because I got scallops that had chorizo and peaches in them.
Oh man, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
Sometimes
scallops,
shark
too.
is passed off as scallops.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
You know, I went to a restaurant yesterday that instead of, and I did not realize they did this, instead of listing dolphin as mahi-mahi, which most people do, they list it as dolphin. Which I've always heard they call it mahi-mahi because they feel like people won't order dolphin because dolphins are appealing animals, lovable animals. Yeah.
So it's two separate things. Mahi is a fish and dolphin is a mammal.
Mahi-mahi is dolphin.
It's dolphin. It's called dolphin fish.
Yeah, D-A-U-P-A.
Well, I know.
Yeah, like Dolphin Island.
No, but I'm saying that's why they call it mahi-mahi because
Oh, okay. I see
people
what you're
will
saying.
think it's the dolphin and they won't eat it.
Like the Miami
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
Not the Dolphin Island outside of
Right.
Mobile.
So Costco memberships come with a variety of perks, including access to discounted products and services. However, TSA recently debunked the rumor that customers' warehouse club cards substitute for a real ID. I'd never heard this before. Apparently, this is a real thing. TSA proclaimed in the next post on Wednesday, June 4th, quote, "We love hot dogs and rotisserie chickens as much as the next person, but please stop telling people their Costco card counts as a real ID because it absolutely does not."
Does not.
So that's not your star ID right there, the Costco card?
That is not a star ID.
Get you right in Costco does not get you on an aircraft.
Have you guys talked to anybody that's been turned down because they haven't had the star ID?
No, but just to show you how our relationship works at the house. 2 weeks ago, I get an envelope shows up in the mail, and it's addressed to Maggie, but she's out of town. I open it up because it feels like it's something on the inside, and it's from the Alabama Drivers
Aaliyah.
Bureau.
Yeah.
So I open it up, and I said, "Hey, your new driver's license came in." why'd you get a new driver's license? Just for the star ID? And she's like, yeah, in case I need to fly. And I said, am I not going with you anywhere?
You don't have one?
How come you didn't alert me?
It is pretty amazing that both of y'all try to out-travel the other.
I was
like, I don't want to stay home tonight. I'm not staying home.
I was like,
do you not have a passport?
I do have a passport.
Oh, then you don't need the star ID.
I don't, if my passport is updated.
Well,
I can't remember the last time I updated
You get
it.
5 or 10 years as an adult.
Yeah,
I forgot which one it is.
passport, you got a little bit there.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's. I'm in a 10-year window. I don't know if I'm in a 5-year
I've heard,
window.
Lance, that if you don't have the star ID, you can still get on the plane, but there is an extremely long, probably you miss your flight, probably have to rebook, an extremely long process with TSA you have to go through to get validated at the airport.
I've had them take a picture of my eyes.
They do that now. Yeah, you look into the thing.
X had to get hers last week, and she said it took her 4 hours at the DMV.
Yeah, it's not a fast process.
Update here. Runaway pet zebra that was on the loose for more than a week in Tennessee and became an internet sensation is in the process of being captured on Sunday.
Is this the best way we could...
Hey, you know what's bad? If that damn thing snaps.
I know, it's over. Game over.
Well, you were tranquilized at this point a little bit, but he's harnessed in there. And the wide picture of this, I mean, it's just right over neighborhood houses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the video, which I couldn't pull because of copyright reasons, it's not like the bag is just steady the whole way. It's like spinning around.
Oh, yeah, like he's going to throw up.
And swinging.
Yeah. It looks like something from Six Flags.
Now,
But I just picture myself early in the morning after a long night of drinking, walking out,
What if
looking up and there's a flying zebra, and I'm like, oh my God.
What if he threw up and it looked like fruit stripe gum? That would be the most awesome thing in the world. Like,
well,
he
I
got
tell
so
you
sick.
what's dicked up is they've got a muzzle on him. So if he gets sick and throws up, he's choking on it, right?
That's possible.
That is possible.
Yeah. But do we think zebras get motion sickness?
I couldn't tell you. No idea. They probably are never in this situation.
So,
Always have to ride shotgun?
Yes.
This is Ed the zebra was captured safely
Zebras
after being...
do not throw up. Zebras, like horses and other hoofed mammals, are not able to vomit. This is due to the anatomical structure of their stomach and the powerful cardiac sphincter.
Well, I would not want to be a
from
hoofed.
moving backward.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a hoofed animal, but I like that you can't throw up. I hate throwing up.
Well, anyway, Ed here, the pursuit of Ed became really big when he was found on an Alabama interstate back in April.
Well, he's safe now, Lance.
He's safe now, yeah.
That's good. Yep. Glad Ed made it.
And that is Trash Today. And the show this hour brought to you in part by our friends at Gutter Cap. If you're looking for a way to change the value of your home without using major renovations, our friends at Gutter Cap can do that before you put it on the market.
Yeah, 205-823-2212. It's a dirty, dangerous job. A ton of rain here. You need to make sure your gutters are clean and free-flowing. The answer is Gutter Cap patent aluminum cover system. Fits over most existing gutters. It will keep debris out. You don't want to get on the roof. It's dirty. It's dangerous. You slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. No good to the wife or kids. 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com.
We'll get ready for Oakmont and the U.S. Open a little bit tomorrow on the show. We'll talk NFL as mandatory minicamps are off and rolling this week. Aaron Rodgers' deal is $10 million guaranteed with the Steelers. Could go up to $19 million if he hits all the incentives. We appreciate Chris Lowe being on the show. You can get that wherever you get your podcast, right here at Next Round Live. Give us a thumbs up before you get out of here. Like and subscribe on all of our social media platforms. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.